This is a special presentation of ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff National Championship game, presented by AT&T.
I'll tell you what it's like to see that last bit of light fade from the sky. A flash of hope, a rush of anticipation. Because you know the night is about to begin.
It's game time in the great tradition of college football.
Heroes of the past. Champions, baby.
To Dorsett. Look out, he's got the corner. Touchdown, Dorsett.
The name is Tony Dorsett.
This game of football, America so dearly loves.
I had a dream the night before. I was going to score 3 times.
Peter Warring, his 3rd touchdown of this championship game.
I just heard everybody go, Peter Warwick. I was like, yeah.
You want a Hollywood ending? I got your Hollywood ending.
The national championship on the line right here.
4th and 5, 19 seconds. Game on the line.
He's going for the corner. He's got it. Invincible.
Can't you see? This is your night.
Dogs, man, what a story.
At the stroke of midnight.
Oh, my goodness.
TCU, 201 long shots before the season.
The magic continues for TCU.
And for a moment of magic, we owe everything to the game.
Look at Tommy Frazier. How many tackles can one man break?
Back-to-back championships. A lot of teams haven't done it. We did it.
And now there is just one game left. One game that will be as big as a college football game can be.
You don't have a lot of big chances. You don't have a lot of these moments. You realize everything's on the line.
We got 30 minutes for the rest of our life. 30 minutes for the rest of our life. Let's go.
It's magic.
History. Legacy.
Grit.
And glory.
Now, you see what the night can bring.
And tonight, which team, which players will seize this massive stage and claim their piece of college football history? Soggy and gray outside, but under the roof of SoFi Stadium, it is dry, bright, and buzzy. Welcome to the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T in the collision between the top seed SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs and the number 3 seed Horned Frogs of TCU. This is the AT&T 5G pregame showcase. Just the second meeting in 4 decades between these teams who won classic semifinals, beating Big Ten teams. First up, it was TCU. 2 early pick sixes set the tone against the Wolverines. Then just enough big plays to hold off a rally and pull off the upset. Following that, in Atlanta, Georgia was on the ropes against Ohio State. Stetson Bennett, a late touchdown drive. They survived a nervous field goal miss right at the stroke of midnight. So Georgia and TCU creating a very unlikely national championship game. Sunday nights in year one at TCU. Kirby Smart, this is familiar at championship setting, but he has full respect for the underdogs from Fort Worth. And welcome to LA. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, are privileged to bring you the 9th CFP championship game. But there hasn't been one like this in the sport, maybe ever, Kirk. That's because TCU was 200-1 preseason, picked 7th in their conference. They built an identity by forging 4 come-from-behind fourth-quarter victories.
Anytime you come back in 4 games in the fourth quarter, you build confidence, and I think that's the TCU team we now have watched over the course, especially these last 5 or 6 weeks of their season, culmination against Michigan in the semifinal. They don't think they're big underdogs. When they come into this game, they look at Georgia, they're not intimidated, they don't hope to win, they think they're going to win. We'll see if they can pull it off.
A year ago at this time, Georgia hadn't won a national title in 41 years. They beat Bama, and Kirk, they've been chasing history and perfection all season long. They've always answered the bell, but it's been a burden, and the wear and tear of that game against Ohio State, the Dog Nation wondering, can they answer the bell one more time, and with the trophy in the building, just go play, let the burden go.
That's a good point, and I think just getting here is such a challenge. Rarely do you see opportunities to be a repeat champion. It's so difficult to manage the emotions of getting through an entire season, but Georgia's done it. They got through the Ohio State game, and now they're here, and it's a team that's 4 quarters away from doing something very few teams can do.
Can Stetson Bennett come up huge again? He's been the MVP of all 3 playoff games. He leads with swagger, this former walk-on. He sets the tone. He wins with his legs and his arm, but he makes some crazy decisions. Got to avoid those tonight.
Well, I think TCU's defense is going to be geared up to show that they can match up physically to stop the run. And by doing that, they better be careful of Bennett off the play-action pass. That's my biggest concern for TCU is Stetson Bennett's ability to create and, of course, his ability to make throws in one-on-one opportunities against the TCU defense.
Like Bennett, Max Duggan is resilient and tough. He's not afraid to shed some blood, shed some tears, and give whatever he can to help his team win.
Duggan's going to run the football, make no mistake, 15 to 20 times. He, at times, looks like he's a running back playing quarterback, but he's improved greatly as a passer. His skills of running and throwing, if they're on display tonight at its finest, it gives the Frogs a real shot to win this game.
He's got a great receiving core. They feel good about their matchups against Georgia's secondary, but they won't have Kendre Miller. He's an elite running back. He's been battling knee pain. Just can't go tonight. We'll see if that's a factor.
Yep.
TCU, the long shots. Georgia, the defending champions in Los Angeles, will emerge the champion here tonight. AT&T 5G is counting us down to kickoff with their 5G-powered cameras, capturing the pregame sights and sounds from the biggest game in college football here in LA. Our countdown cameras are showing us that too much college football is never too much. We'll be back with the national anthem and the kickoff right after this. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. And welcome back to the AT&T 5G pregame showcase inside SoFi Stadium. TCU, the first Big 12 team to make it to this stage. Of course, the SEC has dominated these playoff championship games 13-3 against all other conferences. 70,000 split down the middle between purple and red tonight. PA announcer John Magrino now.
Please rise as our nation's colors are presented by the Joint Armed Forces Color Guard from the Military District of Washington. Forward! Including members of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, and Coast Guard. And now, to perform our national anthem, joined by American Sign Language performer, 10-year-old Seven Chandler from the Marlton School in Los Angeles, California, please welcome 3-time Grammy Award-winning vocal group, Pentatonix.
so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rocking out its flames bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Think about the work you've done to get this opportunity. There ain't no doubt in my mind this team is ready.
Okay, let's go! Let's play with our heart today. Play for the man that's left and right of you.
We love for everyone to continue to doubt us.
We're not a one-hit wonder. Georgia was built to sustain.
Y'all been asking for it.
It's the time when you go out and make sure your name's remembered.
We're not just happy being here. We want to win the whole thing.
Like, this is it. It's the national championship.
For 60 minutes, play fast, play physical, do your job. Yeah, let's go!
Other players' passion, John Williams' beautiful composition. Certainly have us ready up here in the booth.
Oh my gosh.
Kirby Smart knows how tough it is to repeat. Back-to-back champions, John, just 3 times since 1990. Most recently at Alabama, where he was defensive coordinator. Quentin Johnston leading TCU out. They fear no team. Georgia swaggers in as the biggest favorite. Championship game in recent decades. Almost 2 touchdowns. Second straight westward road trip for the guys from Fort Worth. Trying to shock the world tonight. Well, the Frogs' journey has been quite amazing. 5 wins a year ago, sub-500 record the last 4. They won the Mountain West. They won the Rose Bowl over Wisconsin. They had a share of the Big 12 back in 2014. But this is a massive achievement. The list of victims on the right there. The Frog just keeps hopping over people.
Yeah, and people that are not familiar with this TCU team, to go 5-7, bring in a new coach. 4 guys that have ever been to a bowl game and achieved this. They're on the grandest stage of college football.
You said that offhandedly. 4 guys who had ever played in any bowl game.
Any bowl game on the roster.
They're blowing apart the notion you're supposed to have playoff experience. Georgia with Chris Smith and these guys have been there before. Will that be a factor tonight?
Matthew Stafford, LT walking the captains out.
Stafford, of course, won a championship here. LT's nephew plays in this game tonight. Jeff Heiser of the ACC refereeing his first national championship game. And let's get down to Jeff for the coin toss.
Welcome to the College Football Playoff National Championship. Captains, congratulations on a successful season. My name is Jeff Heiser. This is Jim Eckel of the Atlantic Coast Conference. The commemorative coin today, the trophy is the heads. SoFi Stadium is tails. TCU, you will make the call. Tails is the call. Tails is the call. It is a heads.
We defer and kicking it to the locker room.
Georgia's won the toss. They've elected to defer. Jimmy Greenhouse with chance.
Nolan Smith, the injured captain, doing the honors there. Great to have Holly Rowe and Molly McGrath keeping us informed from the sidelines. Here's Molly with Sonny Dykes.
Coach, everyone outside of your locker room calls you an underdog. Why can your team win here today?
Well, you know, we believe we can. I think most importantly, we got a talented football team that believes in each other and has worked incredibly hard. So, you know, we feel like we match up well, and we're excited to go compete against the best.
All right, thank you, Coach. Now let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Coach Smart, a back-to-back championship is rare in this sport. What do you need to see from your team early, particularly as you start on defense right now?
Aggression.
That's it?
That's what we want to do. We're going to hunt tonight. We're going to do the best we can to hunt tonight.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Short, simple answer. They feel like they have been the hunted as defending champions. They want to do the hunting tonight.
Well, that one word summed up the energy and the vibe around the Georgia team, I'm sure, the whole week leading up to this kick.
So Jack Podlesny will boot it away. A guy who didn't watch football growing up. He's not living his dream tonight. He was a baseball guy, but he's on a big stage, and he'll send it away. All the subplots, all the amazing stories of all these players, the unlikely journeys, defying odds, and they all collide on this stage with a trophy and a title at stake. Sit back and enjoy the Dogs of the Horned Frogs. Darius Davis, deep for TCU. A very dangerous returner, whether it's a punt or a kickoff. They kick it to him, and Davis will leave it in the end zone. And here comes Max Duggan. Lost his job in training camp, comes off the bench in the first game after an injury to Chandler Morris. He'd started 29 games before that. He didn't pout about it. Kirk, he stayed engaged, and man, that he sees his chance taking over as starter.
Pretty incredible to be a 3-year starter, and a new head coach and a new system comes in, and you lose the job, and you stay positive. Chandler Morris gets hurt week 1. You step in with a new system, and the rest is history, leading this team and becoming a face of this offense and getting all the way to New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony.
With Miller out, Amari DiMercato, who grew up 5 minutes from here, was the starting tailback, and right away some early nerves and a false start for the Horned Frogs.
Left side of that offensive line.
False start. Offense, number 79.
How does it impact things, Kirk, not to have a 1,300-yard running back in the lineup tonight?
Kendra Miller's had such a great year, and now you're going to see some backups. Amari DiMercato, by the way, DiMercato did a great job against Michigan, 150 yards, so he's more than capable, and this line feels challenged. We'll see how they step up tonight.
On 1st and 15, Duggan has time. Scrambles and fires downfield over the head of Savion Williams, the big-bodied wide receiver. Here's a look at Kendra Miller.
Miller is out and puts a little bit more on Max Duggan, and DiMercato is right there. Averaged 6 yards a carry, almost 1,400 yards on the year. He was their guy, but again, I think they have good depth there. They're pretty confident that they can move on tonight, try their best without him.
They pitch it on the edge. This is Quentin Johnson, their big play receiver, but he's brought down quickly. It's Jalen Carter, the all-world nose tackle on the perimeter, making a tackle. Wow.
Well, he's a big athletic defensive lineman, and that's really part of what TCU wants to do is try to get Jalen Carter running sideline to sideline. Carter's going to be, if he's not the first pick in next year's draft, he'll be a top 5 pick. 88 in red, a guy to watch.
Georgia faithful on their feet roaring. Duggan needs 12 to avoid a quick 3 and out.
Look at all the movement by Georgia. They don't have that premier edge pressure, so they a lot of times simulate pressure and bring backers.
They only rushed 3. Duggan with a long pitch and a diving attempt by Davis, but it bounces on the carpet, and that early penalty messed him up. It's a 3 and out.
Yeah, Georgia shows some pressure. This is what they'll do. Sometimes they'll come, sometimes they won't, and this is what it's going to come down to. Duggan looked a little off balance, made the throw low and away from Davis, and Tay Barber in the slot. A matchup that TCU feels very confident that they can win against man-to-man. That time, I think you just saw back there Duggan just kind of forced the throw there a little early, off balance, out of rhythm.
A pair of Aussies punting in this game. This is Jordy Sandy, who turns 30 in the spring and wants to come back for 1 more year at TCU, believe that or not. High boot, fair cut, and here comes Stetson Bennett. They're going to have good field position in the opening possession here. Almost a perfect 4th quarter. You know his story. He walked on at Georgia, went to junior college in Mississippi to get playing time, came back, Kirk, but he had to battle his way up the depth chart. Only this year did he feel like he wouldn't get hooked at halftime if he had a bad first half. Ends up being a Heisman finalist.
Yeah, it's really a Hollywood script, his story, and what he's had to overcome. Won the championship last year, became really the face of his offense as well, much like Max Duggan, and now in complete command of the scheme and how they like to attack. And we got movement on this side too. Just like TCU, a little bit anxious up front with the offensive line.
Their conference championship games.
Number 73.
They're the CFP semifinals. All the guys who played this, it's another level of intensity when the trophy is in the building.
And like I said, you get to some of these championships, you wonder what the crowd will be like. There is a lot of energy tonight. You can feel here in LA.
Amen. This is not a corporate crowd. And TCU, with a smaller alumni base and enrollment, has showed up in big numbers in LA. This is McIntosh, who's an excellent back, running and receiving out of the backfield, and he picks up 7. Jamoy Hodge got him down.
Well, in this 3-3-5 defense from TCU, Dominic Williams will be asked to kind of hold the point in the middle. They've got to do a good job against the physicality of Georgia in the run game. The linebackers, especially 13, D. Winters, they're going to be getting downhill as fast as they can to try to negate that running game. It's going to put a lot of pressure, especially on the right. Hodges, Tomlinson, and Josh Newton, the corners, are going to have to hold up on islands.
Empty backfield. Bennett steps up, fires across the middle, and it's Brock Bowers with an early catch. And the tight end inside the 35 before Mark Perry got him down.
Watch the eyes of the quarterback. Watch Bennett look left, trying to move the linebacker, creates a nice throwing lane, and puts it right on the money where Bowers can protect the ball before Mark Perry can hit him to try to separate the ball.
You kept asking Atlanta, where's Brock Bowers? Where's Brock Bowers? Only 1 target in the first half against Ohio State. Already makes a big play.
Yeah, and those seams are a concern. They have been for TCU all night. It's an area that Todd Monk, and I think, will try to attack with his tight ends tonight.
Joe Gillespie, the defensive coordinator for the Frogs. Hasn't always been a fast starting defense. And they're on the ropes early. There's another penalty, pre-snap, out of the backfield. Catch made by Dejon Edwards, and he's knocked out, but it looks like maybe Georgia was moving again.
Yeah, Arian Smith actually moved while they had a man in motion. Kyrus Jackson was going in motion and saw movement there by Smith.
It's a month-long layoff, of course, before the semifinals. Coaches are concerned about that. A much briefer turn here.
Illegal shift. Offense. Number 11 and number 30. 5-yard penalty.
Well, we've seen a different kind of start to this game, haven't we?
Yeah, oh yeah. Once 10 goes in motion, see 11's movement, a little step there. You can't do that while you have a man in motion. That's why you have the illegal shift. And again, Georgia gets behind the sticks.
Todd Monken, the play caller for the Bulldogs, likes to throw to set up the run, and he spreads the ball around to a whole bunch of different receivers typically. Kendall Milton now is the back. Off the play fake, Bennett flips it underneath. It's Bowers with his second catch, and the man from Napa back in his home state for the first time down inside the 30.
Well, those linebackers are so aggressive. You got play action going this way. Watch the linebackers go with them. Everybody's worried about that running game, and now you go to the other way. Smart by Todd Monken. Understandably, he studied his film. He understands how aggressive the defense is, especially those backers. He wants to make them pay for it with misdirection and throwing the foot, faking one way and throwing the football the other to try to give better blocking angles and get that defense out of position.
Two-back look. McIntosh and Milton in there. It's Milton around the left side. He's a physical runner, runs with intent and purpose, and he's got a first out of the 21.
Chamoy Hodge has got to make the play. This is big question. Watch number 6. He's able to penetrate right there, and then he misses the tackle. He had a nice chance at a tackle for a loss there, but McIntosh, as you said, Chris, very physical back, ran right through that arm tackle.
The two Cali guys, Bowers and Milton, making an early impact in Georgia's opening possession.
Remember, TCU gave up some big plays early in that opening drive against Michigan, then squeezed and forced the
keeper. Bennett gets a block. Georgia draws first blood. Ninth rushing touchdown for the quarterback. Always quicker than opponents expect him to be off tape.
Unbelievable job here of reading this by Stetson Bennett on a zone read. You know, they sprinkle this in. They don't show it a lot, but against this TCU defense that is flying in one direction, it's another good call here by Todd Monken to make them pay for it.
Dogs got the 3 and out, had the great field position, moving 57 yards in 5 plays in less than 3 minutes. And Georgia, unlike the game against Ohio State, clicking quickly. Bennett, one little cut and the smooth run into the end zone.
So it's a zone read, and you're reading the in man here. What I want you to see, though, is watch those linebackers fly. See how that read kind of commits down? That gives Bennett the idea that he wants to keep it. Look at those linebackers following 30. Then there's nobody left. Gets a good kick-out block by Broderick Jones, the left tackle. And then it's just all his speed into the end zone.
3 positive running plays, 2 completions to Bowers in that opening possession for Georgia. Now we'll see if TCU can answer quickly. Of course, they're used to coming from behind, but this is not a team you want to fall too far behind against. The MegaCast for the CFP National Championship presented by AT&T is back. 11 additional ways to enjoy the title game on every platform, because Kirk, too much college football is never too much.
Never. Boy, did Todd Monken just have a perfect drive there for Stetson Bennett and the Georgia offense, taking advantage of that overzealous TCU defense, how aggressive they are. And now we see if Duggan and TCU can answer that drive.
The Georgia 2 false starts didn't matter. Play clock at 5. Duggan faked it to DeMarcano, and he's swarmed behind the line. Smile Munden, the linebacker, all over him.
Well, and that's his read. He's reading this. Watch how Munden comes down and then comes back out. He gives him a read, an indicator that he's going to come down on the back, and then at the last second, he fools Duggan on that zone read and comes back out and jumps to the quarterback. So gave that early indication to make him think to pull it, and then he fools him for a loss.
Munden, a sophomore, one of the first-year starters. They had to replace 5 first-round draft picks off this defense from a year ago. Staggering. Behind the 6 again on second down. Davis catches the screen and fights back to the 21, but Munden got him down, and now it's 3rd and long again, very long.
But Georgia's flying to the football right now. They're getting off of blocks, leveraging the football. Bullard there, the nickel, nice job of forcing that back to the inside where the rest of that defense can fly. Smile Munden right now having a great start to this game for this Georgia defense at the 2nd level.
What was the one word Kirby Smart used? Aggression? Not just a word, it's put into action here.
Yeah, we've seen it.
Dogs bring some pressure. It's picked up. Duggan has time and delivers into traffic and incomplete. It was the big tight end, Jared Wiley. He was well covered by Keely Ringo and way short of the first down. Anyway, there's a flag down.
Quentin Johnston fell and he was pulled down.
Holding. Defense, number 22. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That's Von Bullard.
Yeah, that's what the call is on Bullard there. TCU catches a break on third down. You know, and Duggan looks to his left. He's trying to dial in Quentin Johnston here, his go-to target, and then Bullard makes contact and then loses balance. It kind of pulls him down.
Bullard saying, what am I supposed to do? The receiver ran right into me. Frogs could use a break. It's Davis in motion. He's got it on the jet sweep. Darius Davis blazing fast, lost the ball. It's on the ground. A scrum right near the TCU bench. Georgia says they've got it, and they do. So Bullard, who just got flagged with the takeaway. Max Duggan's already bleeding over there, and TCU's on the ropes early.
Chris Smith, the leader, one of the few guys that played last year and this year as well. That effort forces that ball out. It stays in bounds. And then you see 3 or 4 red jerseys pounce on top of this. Looked like Ringo maybe the first one to get in there. Bullard also in there.
What a sensational player Smith is. It's his 31st start, All-SEC, Nagurski Award finalist. Just undersized, but so smart, so wise, and so good.
Davis running near that sideline keeps the ball on his inside arm. Made it easy for Smith to pull that out.
Here comes the reverse. It's Bowers making a cut and showing the elite athleticism. Didn't look like much, but he picks up 6.
And all I see right now is Todd Monken saying, all right, you're going to over-pursue. We're going to go with misdirection. We're going to go with play-action pass. We're going to go with a zone read. We're going to get your linebackers out of position. That play, like you said, didn't look like it was much of anything. But because they're pursuing so hard, anything going back the other way is costing them right now.
Bowers made a cut, and some Horned Frogs were on roller skates there. Couldn't change with him. Bennett on the move, delivers high. That's Ladd McConkey going up and making the grab. And the veteran wide receiver who's regaining his health makes the catch in front of Bud Clark there in the red zone.
Yeah, great route here. It's great to see Ladd McConkey healthy. He's had an MCL he's dealt with for a majority of the season. It's good to see him on the right, matched up. Nobody jamming him at all. He's a free run off the line of scrimmage and then a mismatch against Bud Clark. Great route. Look at him go up in the air to secure that football. Boy, Georgia is, as he said, was the word he's used, aggressive on both sides. Not just the defense, but the offense as well.
Big time. Inside Milton, and you feel like TCU defensively needs to rise up here. Just get a stop and force a field goal attempt. I know it's early, but they have not felt the brunt of this kind of an attack all season long.
No, and Joe Gillespie, the defensive coordinator, would agree with you right here. Trying to squeeze Georgia is a tough thing to do, but they have so many different ways to attack in the red zone with a quarterback who understands where to go with the football through the air and has the legs to keep plays alive.
Dejon Edwards is the back. Bennett goes straight back, looks across the middle, and it's broken up very nicely. Getting a hand across was the man they call Nook, Millard Bradford.
I think Bradford plays the toughest position on the TCU defense in his 3-3-5 scheme. He plays outside as a linebacker, but is asked to do things like this. He's got to cover. He's got to come up and run support. That's a big target he's throwing the football to there in Darnell Washington at 6'7". There was some question whether or not the big fella would be able to play, and he's out there as a big target in the red zone.
It's hard work to get an arm around Big O and break it up. Yeah. It's good to see him out there. On 3rd and 7. Bennett flips it short, catch made, but tackled immediately is Edwards. That's a good play. Mark Perry makes the tackle, and TCU does force the field goal attempt.
Really big play there. Mark Perry had to come all the way across the field there to be able to match up man-to-man with Edwards, and makes a good play in the open field. Watch him in the back. Watch him start to chase all the way across, and then makes that tackle right there before Edwards could get his momentum going and have a chance to shake him and get in the end zone.
Jack Podlesny, ultra reliable, hasn't missed this season inside of 40 yards. This is a chip shot from 24. So Georgia gets the fumble recovery, kept out of the end zone, but builds a 10-0 lead midway first quarter.
The College Football Playoff National Championship is presented by AT&T 5G. Too much college football is never too much. And in part by Gatorade. Head to Gatorade.com to fuel your 2023 goals. And Taco Bell, celebrating students by giving 500 free tickets to each school's students for tonight's national championship game.
First series meeting, Frankie Sinkwich, Heisman Trophy winner, doing the jump passes, Kirk. 40-26 in 3 meetings since then, all won by Georgia. In LA tonight, aerial coverage provided by Goodyear, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road, Goodyear? More driven. Most recent meeting was in Kirby Smart's first season in the Liberty Bowl. That set the table for the run to the championship game in 2017. Michelle and Chubb, part of that Georgia team that came from behind to beat Gary Patterson's team. Let's see if this TCU offense, Kirk, can get something going. The jittery penalty early. Georgia all over the running game so far. Monday Night Football, a great super wild card weekend matchup. Prescott and the Cowboys having to go on the road because Brady and the Buccaneers, of course, won the division. 8 o'clock Eastern time, 5 Pacific on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN app. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Lisa Salters on the call. Megacast coverage as well. Peyton and Eli on ESPN2.
Well, let's see if Max Duggan gets more involved in the run game when they try to run. He, again, has to be a part of what they're going to do on the ground. But the real test to me is, can they go after this secondary and win some one-on-one battles?
DeMarcado falls forward. Garrett Riley, who won the Broyles Award as the top assistant, younger brother of Lincoln, who's in the building tonight at a short commute from USC.
Yeah, boy, he has had a great year. We've talked so much about Sonny Dykes, but Garrett Riley is the play caller. The work he's done with Max Duggan, exceptional.
Duggan 2 for 4, but just 5 yards on those 2 completions so far. Second down against the 3-man rush. Launching downfield. Darius Davis is wide open. Has to wait in the throw, but weaves his way down inside the 15. It's a coverage bust and a big play desperately needed.
Sometimes Quentin Johnston, as an NFL first-round type of guy, you think so much about him getting the ball. A little simple switch release at the line of scrimmage took both Georgia defenders to the middle of the field, and it opened it up to the outside to Barber.
Plowing ahead. You got Darius Davis and Tay Barber, 2 guys who came back as 5th-year veterans in this receiving corps.
There's Johnston taking both defenders. Davis goes to the outside, a busting coverage. Bullard there, the nickelback, trying to catch up with him. But again, it's a great throw, and it's easy to look at Davis and the catch, but I think the attention spent on Quentin Johnston causes it.
60-yard play by one of the best big play offenses. That's Warren Brinson, a backup defensive tackle down for Georgia. Chris Wilson on the Allstate bus arrived on a sunnier day here in Los Angeles. Hey, the mayhem moment, the frantic walk-off field goal by TCU.
Yeah, this keeps their hopes alive. Look at this. So well prepped. They do it all. Every team does this to try to prep for the potential. You're out of timeouts. You got to make that last-second field goal on the road. You see the clock running out. It keeps the dream alive for Sonny Dykes and the Horned Frogs.
Griffin Kell, a moment to never forget. 2nd and 5 here. DeMercado bangs down near the marker. He'll be a yard short. Dumas Johnson knocked him down.
He runs hard, and they're running right at Jalen Carter. Everybody wondered how they'd be able to hold up against Big 88. Again, an elite player in the interior of this Georgia defense, and they went right at him there over the right side and had a nice little crease for positive yards.
DeMercado's 6th season of football, his 5th at TCU, began as a junior college player. 3rd and 1. That's Johnston in motion. Dug in with the keeper, scores! A touchdown run for each quarterback. And TCU fights back. Nice drive.
Georgia playing man-to-man, and anytime TCU gets inside the 10-yard line, you're going to see the threat and the possibility of the run. Look at the man-to-man, just clears out the defensive back here. It just opens up. Very simple for Duggan, an easy read. Georgia knows that when they get inside that 5-yard line, it's not just the running back. Duggan is involved heavily, but they're out of position, and he walks into the end zone.
9th time the Max has run for a touchdown this season to go along with his 32 touchdown passes. Well, TCU, a quick strike offense, got the 60-yard pass to set up the touchdown run. 10-7 Georgia now.
Want to stay focused on the action? Just tell Siri, turn on Do Not Disturb.
TCU's defense able to bow up in the red zone, force the field goal by Georgia. And then that quick strike offense. Nobody's got more completions of 50-plus in FBS than Max Duggan. Luke Lamanick to kick it away, and the Horned Frogs hopefully can pin Georgia back and begin to flip the field. Frogs have been operating with good field position so far in this first quarter. Kearis Jackson inside the 5. Jackson weaves his way through traffic and spins out near the 30.
Yeah, we were just talking at the break there. TCU down 10. All this energy in this building. Georgia, defending champs, look like they potentially could pull away early. Who does TCU turn to? Right there. 15. Been doing it all year. Makes a play on the throw. Leads them down in the red zone. And then gets the touchdown to get him within 3. And we'll see what happens now for this TCU defense, that they can feed off of some of that energy.
They feed off his calm. The dude does not get rattled. With this TCU defense, some things to figure out here in the early going. McConkey on the edge gets some blocks, and Ladd McConkey looks like he's got some of that explosive ability back. It's an 11-yard gain.
And a staple of a Todd Monken offense is get the screen game going, and that tunnel screen to McConkey where he's able to get behind the convoy, those offensive linemen, is very difficult to defend because you try to get upfield, you're trying to get pressure, and they get the ball out quickly like that, and he gets behind the lineman there. You're right, he looks fresh. He looks a lot different than he has in recent weeks.
It's amazing what you can do when the knee pain goes away. By far the most targeted receiver in this offense. McIntosh running to the right, bounces off a tackle, and another big game. This Georgia ground game is churning early.
Remember early in the game, there was a lot of misdirection. It was going back the other way. If anything, it's planted a seed on the linebackers to slow them down, and then Monken can go back to what his bread and butter is, which is running the football and being able to get those offensive linemen out on the edge on that pin and pull and letting him run downhill. Great block there by Bowers on the play side.
Nothing but solid chunks of yardage so far every time Georgia has run the football. First down, Bennett looked to pitch it to the edge, now picks it up and now does find McConkey in some space, and he's going to be wrestled out inside the 40 by Bud Clark, but it's right near the marker. It is another first down.
Yeah, I think that little pump fake was to try to move some defenders and then try to find Bowers again in those seam routes that they like to throw, but TCU took it away. But how about that? Still enough time with the protection to go back out to McConkey almost as a check down.
And Bennett, it was almost perfect in the final quarter against Ohio State when Georgia had an 18-3 scoring edge. Begins very sharp, 6 for 7 so far tonight.
Not dealing with much pressure at all when he does drop back to throw.
With the play action, Bennett looks down the middle. McConkey's wide open. Touchdown, Dogs. 37-yard strike. Another clever play design and masterful execution so far by the Dogs.
Yeah, a rare mistake by Hodges Tomlinson, where the back out of the backfield caught his eye, and he came off of McConkey for the touchdown. Hodges Tomlinson, one of the top corners in college football, one of the more experienced corners in college football, and that time he looks like he just bust in coverage. We saw Georgia with a bust, and now we see TCU, and a good job of recognizing it by Bennett for that touchdown threat pass.
Of course, his uncle LT was out there repping TCU at the coin toss, and you're right. Hodges Tomlinson, not just an elite corner, he's one of the calm, steady guys on that defensive side. Uncharacteristic mistake, and that feels good for Ladd McConkey, who really couldn't play a big role against Ohio State.
Chris, look at the quick huddle. Look at TCU's defense. They're not even lined up. They react late here, and now you got motion. So right away there's confusion. Here's the bust right here by Tomlinson. See the back coming out of the backfield? He sees him, lets the receiver McConkey go downfield. So there's a lot there to process for this defense, and it ends up costing them. But again, you got to tip your cap to the job that Todd Monken does there with the sugar huddle, the motion, a lot on the eyes of that TCU defense, and it cost them.
Good swag from the receiver and from his quarterback. Real connection between those two. McConkey caught a 2-point conversion, but only had 2 catches in the semifinal, had 3 on that drive.
He is dialing him up early tonight. And it's a balanced attack for Georgia, which makes it tough for the adjustments by TCU.
It's a quarterback who feels very well prepared and very confident. Davis, who made the big pass reception, has a short kickoff return across the 20. Holly?
Well, Ladd McConkey of Georgia told me that after last week's game against Ohio State, he actually felt pretty rusty. He's been battling that sprained MCL in his left knee and a bone bruise in his right knee. He said he's been doing a ton of rehab and therapy, but he does take a pain management shot before the game. So part of their plan is to go to him early because that can wear off in later stages in the game. But I tell you what, he's not feeling anything right now. Ladd McConkey's feeling just fine.
His knees are a mess. He's got the knees of a 60-year-old. They feel for him. He's got tendonitis, but he's fighting through it with some helpful medicine tonight. So now TCU's got to answer again. Kirk down by 10 one more time. DeMercado makes a cut. Amari DeMercado, again, right near the area where he grew up here in Englewood, rips off 10 yards.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of running on that right side, not staying away at all from Jalen Carter. Real nice patient run there by DeMercado, and nice job by that offensive line opening things up. See Georgia with those 2 safeties. They want to stay back with those safeties. When they do, TCU's got to be able to run the ball.
DeMercado again to the left, patiently follows his blocks, and that's a big chunk on first down of 7. Munden stopped them.
Yeah, those safeties staying back is, again, it's a big part of what Nick Saban's done for years. Kirby Smart with Nick Saban, he's brought it over to Athens. They like to be able to keep those 2 safeties back and defend the run with a lighter box at the line of scrimmage. And if they get away with it, it's going to be a long night. As an offense, if they keep their safeties back, you've got to be able to run the football and get those safeties to come downhill. And then if you do, then you can create some one-on-one matchups on the outside when you get them down.
The play fake, ball zipped underneath, and that's Wiley. He's a big, tough matchup problem. 6'7", 255, played a couple years at Texas, but he's blossomed at TCU.
Yeah, we talk about Darnell Washington. We brag about how big he is, what a difficult matchup he is. But you're right, so Wiley just seems to get more and more comfortable in this offense since transferring over from Texas. And Garrett Riley even telling us yesterday, he's at such a different place within our offensive structure and how we trust him now from where we were in the middle of the year.
It's the right tackle, Andrew Coker, a 3-year starter who appears to be struggling at the moment. Keep an eye on that. Duggan looking to throw, pressure on first down, and they get him. It was a good coverage sack, but finally, Michael Williams, the true freshman, has become the best pass rusher on this defense, gets home.
Well, we just talked about how they like to keep safeties back, and see him back there. He's going to look to try to throw this ball. There's a little bit of pressure by Munden Light. Look to the right. He wants to throw it there, but it's taken away with the corner sneaking underneath. So instead of throwing it away or taking it off and scrambling, He just has to eat it, and the freshman Williams gets to him.
Two-back look. Corey Wren, Monty Battle with their first action, and they flip it in the flat. And that's Wren, a seldom used running back who may need to step up tonight. Stopped by Lassiter. It's third down. And very long again. So Bennett and the Bulldogs offense on fire. 17 points in the first quarter. And TCU trying to play catch up here. End of one in LA. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T. Welcome back to the CFP National Championship presented by AT&T. Well, if you go back to the BCS and playoff era, 25 years, nobody scored 17 in the first quarter of a championship game until now. It's like Andrew Coker is out. Two different tackles.
Yeah, Coleman goes from left tackle, 77, now over to right tackle. Marcus Williams comes in at left tackle. So you have essentially two new tackles, new positions for them.
Four-man rush on 3rd and 17. Davis has the catch, but not enough yardage. He's into Georgia territory before Chris Smith got him down, and it's 4th down.
And watch how quickly the pressure is right here. Watch the left tackle, 71. Inside move there by Walker. And he really got away with a hold. That right arm, he's holding him to prevent him from getting in, but it gives you an idea of what TCU is going to be dealing with on the edges if you lose Andrew Coker at right tackle.
So the punt team out for TCU as Coker walks off. Jordy Sandy tries to pin the Dogs back. Kicks it high with backspin, and stepping up to make the fair catch is Jackson at the 8-yard line. Coker really frustrated, slammed his helmet down as he heads to the locker room to have the athletic trainers check him out. So now TCU's defense has Georgia backed up to start the drive, but can they get off the field here? They haven't had any answers yet.
Yeah, 3 possessions, 2 touchdowns, and a field goal. And Joe Gillespie, the defensive coordinator, had a good start as a first-year defensive coordinator with TCU. Has a defense that has, last week against Michigan, played with some confidence. I'm sure the adjustments have been made, and see how much better they can play now in their 4th series.
Kendall Milton slipped as he made the cut and stopped at the 10-yard line. Looks like Warren McClendon, the veteran right tackle for the Dogs, who's been battling the knee problem, has been cleared to play and is in there now.
Good to see him out there.
Marius Mims played very well, the young guy, in his absence against Ohio State.
What a bright future he has. Again, how Georgia's been doing this, a little bit of everything. Running the football front side, they've been going misdirection, play action, been able to throw the football, a lot of time to throw when he has been back there. Very aggressive approach.
Fake it to McIntosh. Bennett on the move, looking to create over the middle, and checks it down to Bowers, who makes his 3rd catch. It is knocked down at the 20 by Hodges Tomlinson.
Well, there's Bowers on the backside, and on the play side is Darnell Washington, and the TCU defense, they get caught up in what's in front of them. See, Washington's in front of them, a couple different defenders, but what's behind him is a wide open number 19 for a 1st down. Usually there's red lights blinking all over Brock Bowers, but here comes that sugar huddle again.
Bennett has all kinds of time. Launches for Bowers again, who makes the catch in TCU territory. He's being used early and often tonight, and that makes Georgia fans happy.
Well, again, they break that huddle quickly. I think it's causing some miscommunication for the TCU defense, and they're trying to catch up to it. It's Jamoy Hodge, and that is a really difficult thing to do for a big linebacker at 245 pounds. To stay up with Bowers, who is one of the fastest tight ends we've seen play college football in a long time.
13 touchdowns as a true freshman. Productivity off a little bit this year. He's been obviously honed in on by defenses. Milton dragged down behind the line, but when you have a tight end, Kirk, that has 420 yards after the catch, his combination of skills, power and speed, agility, all of it.
You really don't see it. And a guy that didn't play high school football his senior year in Naples because of COVID, last year, you and I remember we did some Georgia games, and it's just like, this guy's a true freshman. This guy, I mean, he played running back in high school, has running back skill set, and here he is, the versatility. They flex him out as a mismatch.
Had touchdown receptions in each of Georgia's playoff wins last year. And second down, they launch downfield, and trying to make a one-handed catch on the ball is A.D. Mitchell, guarded by Hodgins Tomlinson.
Boy, that is a fun matchup because A.D. Mitchell's 6'4". He's got great length, and Hodgins Tomlinson's 5'9", but he'll take anybody on. He's got that kind of personality as a corner. He's not going to back down, and really, he on one side and Josh Newton on the other gives them a tandem that they rely on and trust and leave them on islands a lot.
7-inch difference in height. He says, forget about it. I got a 41-inch vertical. I got this.
Yep. They're going to try to hit the seams here. Try to get in the middle of the field.
McIntosh is split wide to the right. Bowers off to the left of the formation in the slot.
Well, the ball better come out quickly in an empty set.
Snap it at 2. He's immediately pressured. Winters chasing Bennett, 13 versus 13, but the quarterback wins that battle and dives for a first down to the 33.
And this is the you kind of roll the dice. 5 offensive linemen. You blitz. You think you got speed. Do not underestimate what Stetson Bennett can do man to man. All those defenders have their backs turned to the quarterback, so once he turns the corner to run, it's a foot race, as you said, between 13 and 13, and Bennett gets it done for the first down.
Nobody prepares harder than D. Winters. He watches a ton of tape. He feels he's always ready for the opponent, but outmaneuvered by the quarterback on that one. Georgia threatening to bust it open here. He's got to hurry here. Play clock at 3. Just gets it off and hands it off into heavy traffic, and McIntosh is knocked down. Finally, actually just caught up. Yard behind the line of scrimmage.
The few times we've seen him stacked up like that, just cannot believe. You know, we see Stetson Bennett. We've seen him play these last 2 years, and we keep talking about how he had to fight for respect. This shows you how far he has come. He knows it's third down. He sees a blitz. He knows it's man-to-man. Almost baits Winters to him, and then spins out because he knows there's going to be nobody outside, and it's going to be him and Winters trying to race to that first down marker. So the pre-snap awareness by Bennett beats you with his mind as well.
The play fake again. Bennett checks it down, and the catch is made. And that's Edwards out of the backfield. It's another first down. Holly?
Well, guys, Stetson Bennett may not always get the credit he deserves for being a terrific athlete. I talked with our strength and conditioning coach, and he got up to 20 miles per hour on Monday's practice on the catapult. He's pretty quick. People just don't know it.
Sure is. He can fly.
Edwards again. Correct myself, it wasn't a first down, it was 3rd and short, but now it is a first down. Georgia back in the red zone.
And they're doing we thought TCU might be a tempo team tonight to try to wear down Georgia's defensive front, and it's really been Stetson Bennett mixing in both tempo and that sugar huddle where they break quickly and try to get TCU out of position or affect their communication. I think that's been as much a part of their strategy as the execution of the play itself.
Bowers is in the backfield now, to the left of Bennett. Some fresh bodies in for TCU. They got backups along the defensive front. McIntosh around the corner, barrels down, another first down. 1st and goal for Georgia.
They left themselves open on the edge of the defense. Brock Bowers makes a good block here to be able to get him to the corner and then use the speed. I mean, make that block right there, and now you rely on your back to be able to use the speed to get to the corner and Kenny McIntosh.
Athletic even when he's out of bounds, jumping over 3 or 4 photographers there. th play of the drive. Bennett keeping all the way and just sauntering into the end zone. His 2nd rushing touchdown, and Georgia throwing haymakers and building a big lead now.
And man-to-man. Watch the defenders on the outside move with the receivers. Nobody on the edge of that defense. We saw Bennett score a touchdown like that against Ohio State. Look at how easy that is for Broderick Jones, 59. He's trying to look for somebody to block. Milton's trying to find somebody, and nobody taking care of the edge of the defense.
Bennett untouched on both of his touchdown drives or runs so far. He's also thrown for one. They got backed up to start the drive. Didn't matter. 92-yard march in 11 plays. Took almost 6 minutes, and it's almost been a little bit too easy for Stetson Bennett and the Bulldogs so far. Up 17 mid-second quarter. All smiles on the Georgia bench. Vince Young, the last quarterback to have multiple rushing touchdowns in a championship game. That epic battle in the Rose Bowl over USC, the game-winning scamper to the pylon. Bennett, already the most accomplished player in CFB era. I mean, most outstanding player in 3 playoff games coming into tonight, and off to a great start here. Again, his career is a movie, and someone will write one.
It is.
Beginning as a walk-on, told a million times you're not good enough, including by the Georgia coaching staff, by the way.
Georgia fans, Georgia coaches, everybody.
Davis knocked down short of the 20. Georgia good in all 3 phases so far. LA Live, ESPN headquarters, near Staples. 17-point lead. TCU needs to cut into it quickly.
The College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T is brought to you by the Chick-fil-A Chicken Sandwich. An original then, an original now. Order today on the Chick-fil-A app. Capital One, what's in your wallet? Allstate, reminding you that football season is mayhem. And Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit.
Georgia championships 41 years apart. The late, great Vince Dooley, who we lost this season, winning it in 80. TCU, you saw win it in 38. Davey O'Brien's Heisman Trophy season. Dr. Pepper Championship Trophy presented tonight to the winner.
You see Andrew Coker back in the lineup, moves Brandon Coleman back to his original spot at left tackle.
TCU, they say they're comfortable fighting from behind, but it feels pretty uncomfortable at the moment. Defense can't get a stop, and so Duggan's going to feel the pressure every possession, Kirk, to do something. Held the ball for a long time and then takes it forward for a couple yards.
Yeah, you're going to see man-free coverage. Georgia just takes everybody away. And then they got a spy right here in case he potentially scrambles out. Everybody else is locked down. You see Quentin Johnston there in the middle, pulled away late, but by then Duggan was already taken off. Good coverage downfield.
The big 60-yard pass to Davis, but only 49 yards on their other 17 plays. Sticking with the running game and sets up a 3rd and short, and there's a flag down on that running play on the far side.
Bring that one back for a holding call in 56 in the middle there, Ali.
Holding, offense number 56. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Lon Ali, who came over from SMU with Dykes. It's a gray beard offensive line. You got a couple of 6th-year guys, a 5th-year guy, so a lot of experience, but they got their hands full with this front so far.
Speaking of hands full, his right hand was full of that jersey.
Nice job there. Literally, their hands are full. Behind the 6 again, it's just uncomfortable. It's happened a lot in the early going.
Quentin Johnston, 1 catch for 3 yards tonight.
There's Barber. He makes a catch in the flat, ushered out. The elite ex-receiver for Ohio State, Marvin Harrison Jr., really hurt this Georgia defense. Frogs fans hoping that Johnston could have the same impact tonight. Hasn't happened yet.
Well, you'll go all the way back to the LSU game in the SEC Championship. 500 yards passing for the Tigers that night, and then 348 for Stroud with his 4 touchdowns. I think a lot of people thought, can Georgia rush Duggan? Can they, if they don't get the pass rush to Duggan, not sure they can hold up against Johnston and company, but so far we've not seen that a lot. Now they're moving him around. Now they put him in a slot here on this 3rd down.
Normally he lines up on the left almost every time. Duggan sidesteps the rush, launches downfield. Johnston, the intended receiver, but it's picked off. Javon Bullard patrolling the deep middle of the field, and it's the second takeaway for the Dogs defense.
I think Jamon Dumas-Johnson creates this interception because we just showed you where Johnston was, and he was wide open. The pressure here comes, but here on the post, it looks to me like it's wide open. You got a safety kind of hiding here, but if he has time to throw, just throw it to the middle of the field on a line. Free release off the line of scrimmage, everything you would want on third down, but because of the pressure with that blitzing linebacker, Dumas-Johnson, I think it may have affected the eyes and the vision downfield of Max Duggan.
Duggan only threw 3 picks, Kirk, in the first 12 games. He's now thrown 4 in the last 7 quarters. So Georgia trying to add to the lead. They've scored in their first 4 possessions, and a positive start as it's Bowers moving the sticks again.
You're talking about an offense in a national championship that's averaging 10 yards a play. 10 yards a play, and they're scoring on every possession. Continuing to mix up their looks with personnel groupings, different receivers, tight ends, flexing the tight ends from being in line to wide, different running backs. I mean, everything Georgia wants to do right now is working.
First team to score in their first 4 possessions in the championship game era. Trying to make it 5 for 5. Milton makes a man miss, and he barrels into TCU territory, ripping off 9 more. Molly?
Well, Chris, TCU defensive coordinator Joe Gillespie just called his entire defense together on the sideline and said on that last series, you had 8 misalignments. You're making them better. You're already good, but you're making them look all world. He's frustrated with their mistakes when they get lined up and their lack of communication, finishing with be where you're supposed to be and just do your job. Chris?
It's an expression of the stress of a championship game. He wondered, would the moment be too big? Mental mistakes are certainly part of it. Georgia's plenty good anyway.
Georgia has a lot to do with those mistakes, the looks that they're giving him, the different tempos.
And Milton, deep handoff, and he is smacked in the hole there by Tymon Mitchell, along with Johnny Hodges.
The former Georgia Bulldog transferred over right at the nose there, works around, really good swim technique there, uses great quickness for his size at 315.
Played sparingly in 5 games last year, came to Fort Worth for some playing time on the edge. Arian Smith, speedster, and a big touchdown against Ohio State. First down yardage again.
The thing that you got to be most concerned about right now, Joe Gillespie over there talking about getting the alignment right, is tackling, because you know that's another thing. As aggressive as they are, it's a hit or miss situation. As fast as these guys play downhill, you miss one tackle, there's not a lot of people left behind to try to help you out.
Bursting up the middle and barreling down to the 30-yard line is McIntosh. As you said, whatever they want to do.
Xavier Truss, part of a nice double team there, along with the big center, Cedric Van Brand, just opened up that middle and got Kenny McIntosh running downhill. 73, a nice block right there, and look at this, just opens up.
Almost 9 yards a carry so
Look at
far
that.
for McIntosh. AT&T 5G ref cam. McIntosh again at the left side, slips one tackle, another. A flag is down in the holding zone.
Darnell Washington body slammed the guy. It's hard not to at 6'7", 270 as a tight end. I think he got Johnny Hodges.
Holding. Offense number 0. 10-yard penalty.
I don't believe I when he was body slammed by Big O.
No, that's what he did. He just put his arms around him and just threw him to the ground. I don't know if he was frustrated or what. He just grabs him and just throws him down to the ground.
Hodges, the top tackler, is a tough guy. The transfer from Navy. Not used to getting ragdolled like that.
But nothing is slowing these guys down. They had a long field to go. They went 92 yards, 11 plays, touchdown. They get behind the sticks.
On 1st and 20, Edwards knocked down. The winners on the stop. Georgia continues to throw body shots. Control field position, control the clock, and move the ball at will so far.
Already 129 yards on the ground.
Off the play fake, launching downfield, McConkey leaping, incomplete. On the edge, guarded well by Hodges Tomlinson.
Boy, so close to trying to get his right foot down near the end of this play. Good coverage there by Tomlinson. The right foot comes down just out of bounds. See him trying to drag it just out of bounds. Good tight coverage again, and a perfectly thrown ball, by the way, by Stetson Bennett to give him a chance there.
So the holding penalty moves him back, and now it's 3rd and 15.
Keep spreading them out here on these third downs, trying to create those matchups.
TCU backs off, rushes 3, plays coverage. Bennett down the middle, catch made Bowers. Doesn't matter how many guys you put in coverage, they can't cover him or tackle him easily down to the 12.
Well, Stetson Bennett knew he was going to get the ball to Brock Bowers here the whole time, and he moves the backers again with his eyes looking left to move this backer, and then it creates that lane right in the middle between the two backers. Throws it on a line, always in time with Bowers, and a perfectly thrown football, and another first down on 3rd and long.
Been recent seasons, tight ends so deadly, so useful for offenses in college football, and they've got the best one in the country. Winner of the Mackey Award, and he has been unstoppable tonight. 5 targets, 5 catches, already 102 yards. He also had a 5-yard run. Timeout taken. Dogs on the doorstep to build on this 17-point lead. Goodyear providing aerial coverage, road tested and game ready. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven. There's the fabulous forum where the Lakers won a lot of championships. Not looking so fabulous, dwarfed by SoFi Stadium.
That's incredible. Look at that.
This is an amazing, amazing building. You've had the pleasure of doing a couple NFL games. My first time in here.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Here comes that quick huddle again. Causes issues with communication and alignment.
Quick snap. Edwards trying to get to the edge. He does, and it'll be wrestled down at the 5-yard line. Bradford saving a touchdown for now.
This defense is saying as if it's not hard enough to try to line up and match up with Bennett and his receivers and his offensive line, but they keep throwing in that quick huddle. And then a lot of times when they do, they work to get the ball out on the perimeter, just outrun TCU.
Georgia trying to make it 5 consecutive scoring drives to start this game, and they do get the football to begin the second half as well. Bennett under center. Milton, stutter step, diving, reaching. He'll be just short of the goal line, but it'll be first down.
Georgia just keeps rotating backs, staying fresh. Boy, the offensive line is having their way with TCU up front. That defensive line and linebackers overmatched at the line of scrimmage.
They rotate backs. Didn't have a back carry the ball more than 20 times this season. Very unusual. Timeout will be first and goal when you come back. CFP is joining ESPN and ABC for the Choose Kindness Project. They work with young people and parents, educators, coaches to help stop bullying, youth mental wellness. Learn more at the ChooseKindnessProject.com. Jimmy Pitaro, chairman of ESPN, part of a presentation on the field. Dogs.
Comes that quick. Nope. I thought they may go quick huddle here for a quick touchdown.
Yard away from stretching the lead here before halftime. Milton. No problem. Georgia overpowering TCU.
I think the word that you just used pretty much sums up the first half for the TCU defense, being overpowered by Georgia. Can they continue to mix up their looks and continue to have really good blocking angles? There's Stegman Coliseum in Athens. I'm sure they're fired up what they see out here in Los Angeles from the Dogs.
It's Georgia's basketball arena. I think you'd be fired up if you're a Georgia fan, because they've had 5 possessions, 4 touchdowns. They got down to the red zone and were forced to kick a field goal in the other possession. And TCU, we talked about their comeback reputation. They have a lot of self-belief. Sonny Dykes said, just get us to the fourth quarter. We like our chances. Well, they're reeling here now, late second quarter.
Yeah, and you did mention, it was kind of you to mention that Georgia gets the ball to start the second half.
They do.
Yeah. Uga didn't make the trip out here.
He did not.
Which is a shame for him. I'm sure he's enjoying this game back in Athens, watching it. It's been that kind of game. You know, it's been all Georgia. I don't even know what really to say except for complete domination at the line of scrimmage. Incredible plan by Todd Monken on the offensive side. Incredible execution by Stetson Bennett and the skill guys in the offensive line. I mean, Kirby Smart, we met with him last night. He was sitting in the office next to us before we got a chance to sit down with him. He was watching film. I don't think he could have envisioned this game going any better than what he's seen here in these first 30 minutes.
Definitely not. He sold to his team TCU is good. They beat the team who dominated the team that had us on the ropes. Speaking about TCU's victory over Michigan and their win over Ohio State, but this has been a completely different matchup here tonight. Davis from the end zone trying to make something happen. Eludes a couple of guys, gets to the edge, but not a big return. Stopped right at the 20-yard line. Mercedes-Benz halftime report. Reese Davis, Desmond Howard, David Pollack, who predicted this, and Nick Saban, who knows a lot about championship victories here, watching from the mezzanine and fully aware, as Georgia fans are, that if Georgia can make it back-to-back, they will become the current benchmark program in college football, which would, I would think, motivate Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide next season.
Yeah.
But it's a fact.
Well, it's more of a compliment to Georgia than it's really to take anything away from Alabama right now. Georgia they're raising the bar.
Duggan just trying to make a play. Checks it down underneath there, and then Samani battle for a very short game. TCU does have some timeouts to work with if they want to.
And throw it in the middle of that defense. Defense flying. 2 linebackers right in position there to make a nice play.
Duggan swarmed and knocked down. Georgia relentless on both sides. Bear Alexander, a true freshman, joining the party.
Well, they brought pressure on the outside, but boy, Jalen Carter in the middle. Watch the push right here. They bring pressure out here, but watch that big push, splitting that double team. The big fella known for how quick he can be and how dominant he can be, and that time able to split the double team, eating up those 2 offensive linemen and freeing up others to get home.
He's one of 3 true freshmen on the Georgia roster from Texas. They dip into that state to get recruits, and that had to feel pretty good for Alexander against first team from Texas to play in the CFP championship game. You said you didn't think that Kirby Smart could envision anything better than this. What do you think Sonny Dykes is thinking right now?
I don't even know what to say, man. 31-7, and by the way, Georgia's not done in this half. If they get him off the field right now, they're not taking a knee.
I would agree. Aggression.
One word.
Kirby Smart said before the kickoff.
He will not let up.
Duggan stands and delivers, but it's intercepted. Made a mistake, and Javon Bullard has had a huge first half with takeaway number 3, and no, Georgia is not done in the first half.
By the way, Jalen Carter got pressure again on Max Duggan. There's Nolan Smith, man. Great to see him down there, injured and out, but one of the leaders of this team, really the alpha of this team. Jalen Carter is able to get the pressure right here And I think that affects Duggan and his timing. It's a long throw, and it's late. You have two defenders there. He read man-to-man, but Georgia's sitting in zone. 88 in his face, and he throws it. Nice job by Bullard jumping it, and Bennett's thinking another touchdown right here.
Carter just threw aside one blocker and then got right past Ali, the center. Bennett has protection, fires down the middle, and it's broken up nicely. Getting a hand in front was Bud Clark just in time to prevent the touchdown to Mitchell.
That is huge play by Bud Clark, because that ball was thrown on the inside where it was tough for Clark. Could he make this play without interfering with Mitchell? Really close, but he gets that left arm, that long, his good length, long left hand and arm around him before he interferes. Okay, they're attacking the seams of this TCU defense.
That was the problem all season. That's their worst defended route. Those routes down the seam in the middle. Bennett looking this time to the edge. Mitchell, one-handed catch for a touchdown. And the highlight reel continues. He beat an excellent corner in Josh Newton, but A.D. Mitchell, who didn't have a catch from week 3 until the semifinal game, comes up big again.
You're right here, Chris. He doesn't have a chance, it looks like, to get that the left arm up because it's locked down by Newton.
Touchdown, Georgia.
Newton's fighting to try to get that ball back. That's just brought in with his body and his right hand to try to secure it. Newton never really gives up on the play as they hit the ground.
Mitchell, who had a high ankle sprain, a bad one, really spoiled his regular season, now has a touchdown catch in 3 different CFP games in his career. And this is a complete beatdown, 31-point margin at the break if Leslie can make this PAT.
How's the location of that football for Mitchell? It was a heck of a catch, but another great throw by Stetson Bennett on that one-on-one matchup on that fade to the corner.
Bennett, who's run for 2 untouched, has now thrown for 2, and Georgia still perfect in terms of scoring possessions. 5 touchdowns and a field goal in their 6 possessions in the first half.
Take a peek here at this touchdown. We said that Georgia wasn't done, and they get the interception. They come right back, spread them out, create a one-on-one matchup, put it in the corner. You know, it looked like Newton really didn't realize the ball was thrown to. It was about halfway in the air.
Look, it's been a total mismatch in all phases. Bennett at times is just smiling, but he's not hitting an oxygen mask to get more air in the lungs here. That swag on display. You know, Sonny Dykes, we ask him, what do you have to do to win? The first thing, take care of the ball. And they've had 3 first half turnovers, the early fumble, and then 2 picks by Duggan.
Bullard going in a little early here to be looked at after that big interception.
17 points off those 3 takeaways. And Davis weaves his way and is tackled across the 25. Wednesday night on ESPN, NBA doubleheader, 7:30. Bucks take on Trae Young and the Hawks. 10 o'clock up to Denver. Jokic and the Nuggets hosting the Suns. NBA countdown at 7. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app. And you take a knee if you're TCU to avoid another turnover?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. We have a Georgia player at the 15-yard line.
Edwards, the running back. Well, this is an overwhelming display by a team that might not realize it felt, quote, disrespected all season long because people didn't predict that they would go back-to-back. Georgia believes that no one predicted they would make the playoff. I'm not sure that's correct, but they have carried that chip, and Kirby Smart has masterfully found a way to push the buttons and keep his guys hungry. And the rallying cry was, come out here, leave no doubt, and claim your stake as one of the the great 2-year periods in college football history.
That's always the challenge, right? When we see a team, and Nick Saban will be talking in halftime, whether it's a Nick Saban team, a Dabo Swinney with Clemson, when they win a championship and trying to get them back motivated the way they were before they won that first championship. You're right. I mean, who's out there saying that Georgia doesn't have a chance? Everyone's thinking that Georgia's going to be great again, even though they lost all those good defenders. But those players didn't think that. Kirby does a good job of kind of manipulating their thoughts, making them feel disrespected, making sure those young defenders, no one thinks this defense can be any good after all these guys left, and these guys kind of fed off of that, and it allowed them to get to this point, and man, this is the best they've looked in a while.
You're not supposed to be this good when you lose 5 first-round guys on defense.
I know.
But they are reloaded. This team really, many feel, isn't nearly as dominant as last year's team, but last year's team did not go 15-0, and the Dogs are within a half of doing that. Hand the ball off inside to Bailey, and he's dragged down. A nightmarish 30 minutes for TCU. Really, right from the start of this game. Play calling of Monken, execution of Bennett, hit him in their most vulnerable places, and then they are complicit with 3 turnovers. Georgia has 354 yards of offense in this first half. Wow, what a display. Georgia in total control, up 31 at the break, and will get the football to begin the second half. Well, let's hear what Sonny Dykes has to say about a rough first half.
Coach, how do you come back from this large a deficit?
Well, we had things go about as bad as they could go in the first half. Like exactly what we talked about. Turned the ball over 3 times, gave up a bunch of big plays. We just got to get settled in. You know, it seemed like a little bit early maybe our guys were a little bit wide-eyed, and we just got to settle in and play football. We're making uncharacteristic mistakes, and we get some momentum second half, maybe we get back in this game.
All right, thank you, Coach. Holly.
Coach, you wanted aggression in the first half. What did you get?
We were aggressive, but 60-minute game. We have not had our best moments in the third quarter, and they have. So we got to challenge our team to come out, play really physical, and play aggressive.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
You didn't think he was going to say, hey, we got this number to the post, right?
You think you've looked good in the third quarter? No, not like TCU's looked good in the third quarter. Good luck. We'll see what you're made out of.
Bad news is for TCU is that the fourth quarter is actually Georgia's best quarter of the season.
All right.
Mercedes-Benz halftime report. You're watching the CFP National Championship presented by AT&T here in LA.
Welcome back. Before the start of the second half, the all-electric Mercedes-Benz lineup takes the field.
And tonight, which team, which players will seize this massive stage and claim their piece of college football history? Georgia draws first blood. Throwing haymakers and building a big lead now. Back in LA, set for the second half of the CFP National Championship presented by AT&T. Georgia with the kind of first half we have not seen in the CFP era. They score in every possession, 5 touchdowns and a field goal. Reminds me, Kirk, of that game down in Miami when Alabama jumped on Notre Dame and Brian Kelly said the best chance in the second half is that Bama didn't come out of the locker room.
Yeah.
Georgia's out of the locker room, and they're going to get the football. And what, if anything, can TCU do at this point?
I had a good fortune of calling that one, too.
I know you did.
Yeah. And it was over early and often, and it feels very reminiscent of that. So it's going to be an interesting 30 minutes here. for both teams and for you and I, because I really think that Georgia will not let up. If you know anything about Kirby Smart, he told Holly walking in at half, well, we got to get focused on his third quarter because we haven't been great. They've been really good. He's not going to stop. He's not going to, well, let's work the clock. They will continue to be aggressive. That's been their theme all night, and it won't change.
They came out beautifully prepared. Todd Monken with a game plan that just had this TCU defense head spinning from the start, and beautiful execution from the beginning by Stetson Bennett. Running, throwing, all of it. Here's the Capital One rewarding performance.
Yeah, how fitting is it for him to play one of the best games of his career on this stage after everything he's been through, the journey he's been on. The recognition has been there all game long. Even here, this field vision, ability to find that open receiver, Brock Bowers, on a third down where he moves and manipulates the linebackers to put him right where he wants. Here's the accuracy and the touch to be able to put it up to Mitchell on a fade that was beautifully thrown and obviously a great catch. And now here they go. How many possessions was that in the first half?
6.
5 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yes.
See what they do here.
And off to the right side, and they just continue to rip off chunks of yardage. That's Kenny Milton. Bennett with multiple touchdown runs and passes. No one's done that in the championship game. You see up here, he did it in a half. So locked in. He had that quiet swagger. We had these pre-championship game meetings with Trevor Lawrence before he went off, with Joe Burrow. It kind of felt like that from Bennett last night in his own way.
It just felt like a seasoned pro, like a veteran who had a lot of confidence in what was about to happen in the game.
McIntosh picks his way for a short gain.
But, talking all this about Georgia, you flip it over to TCU and you're down 31. And you said, what do you say to your team if you're Sonny Dykes, where Georgia scored on every possession? Obviously, you're going to test their manhood and their pride. This team's been tested all year. This is a different deal in this championship. But I guarantee you he's got some fighters in there. But can they muster enough belief and physicality to give them a chance to get off the field and get their offense back out there?
Need to stop here in 3rd and 3. Empty backfield. Bennett over the middle, and it's broken up. Tried to get it into Mitchell, and reaching to make the play was Hodges Tomlinson. And the Horned Frogs, don't look now, have a 3 and out.
Well, they motioned and they created the one-on-one matchup back to the boundary. Got exactly the look that they wanted with a bigger receiver in Mitchell against that pesky undersized Hodges Tomlinson. 5'9", but will take on any receiver in the country. He's been pretty good tight coverage tonight, and that time that tight coverage with the awareness to knock it away.
First appearance from the other Aussie punter tonight, Brett Thorson, the freshman. Pro kick. Australia's all excited, Kirk. They've got 2 guys on opposite sides of the championship game in Melbourne, where it's already Tuesday morning. There's a flag down. Punt rolls dead at the 20. We're talking Aussie punters at this point.
I knew it when I saw 2 Aussie punters. I thought you are going to be fired up. I knew it. What time is it? What time is it in Australia right now?
It's Tuesday morning, yeah.
Okay. Well, TCU got him off the field. First time all night.
Jeff Heiser and this ACC crew, not too much work to do. You've stayed out of the way for the most part here. This might not be on the coverage team, but what you just showed me.
Sorry, turn to kick, holding, receiving team. Aubrey plays 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yep.
No, Molly, what do you have?
Well, TCU head coach Sonny Dykes normally meets with his team at the end of halftime, but he gathered them up right away and told them to calm down. He said, you're making mistakes you haven't made all season long. You haven't even shown up tonight. He told them they need to treat this like any other game and stop playing scared. And he finished with, hey, you need to play with more physicality. Get in their face and at least make them earn it. So he has to be happy about that last defensive possession, Chris.
They have become turnover prone, though, Molly, in the last 3 games. That's been a problem. They survived it against Michigan. They did not against K-State in the conference championship game. And -3 tonight has been a nightmare in the turnover department. Backed up to the 10 because of the penalty. DiMercato slammed down immediately. He's there, Stackhouse. It's been tough all year to run in the middle of Georgia. Those guys have not just stopped the run, they've gotten in Duggan's face tonight.
Absolutely, and Stackhouse is known is one of the better run defenders on this defensive front outside of Jalen Carter, and eats up space, and they're moving him around too, affecting that offensive line. It's been a staple and really a strength at TCU. Been fortunate to have most of these offensive linemen healthy and played with the same 5 all year.
Duggan from the pocket delivers, and catch made by Wiley. They'd hope to use some tempo to wear out this Georgia defense the way Ohio State did. But if you can't get first downs, you can't crank the tempo. They only ran 26 plays in the first half.
The thing that I think has really been somewhat surprising for Sonny Dykes and Garrett Riley as a play caller is the line of scrimmage. I think they felt a little bit more confident they could run the ball enough with Duggan being included in the run game and protect him. That's not been a strength of Georgia's all year, is getting pressure on the quarterback. But tonight, even when they don't get to him, they're getting him rid of the football a little bit faster than he's ready to.
Just enough pressure. Let's see if there's a flag there. No, wrapping around Johnson was good coverage, as it turns out, by Tyke Smith. And here comes the TCU punt team.
See the reaction by Duggan. He thought that Smith got there a little early on Johnston. Let's take a closer look at it. There's, again, more pressure with those linebackers. Bill, what do you think of this with the left hand grabbing that left arm?
That left arm is the problem. That's where the restriction occurred. Reaching around was fine, but that left arm did restrict.
Had to get Bill a rep here. Hadn't been much to talk about the officiating front. Sandy's punt, fair caught at the 45. Last stop for the Taco Bell Live Moss student section. TCU folks still trying to show some energy. Georgia students really enjoying themselves. Been provided free tickets for the championship game by Taco Bell. Giving the game back to the biggest fans, the students. There is Bob Iger, CEO of parent company, the Walt Disney Company, back in charge of things. A 3 and out, by the way, for Georgia. Snapped a string of 9 consecutive scoring possessions, 7 touchdowns, 2 field goals, going back to that victory over Ohio State if you exclude the kneel down after the missed field goal. Bennett still got it, looking to throw in first down, flips it to Bowers. This is where we began, and Bowers pours it on, weaves his way deep into TCU territory, finally wrestled down. 6th catch of the night for the big fella from Napa.
Just get him out in space. He kind of goes, watch him go left, comes back to the right, gets enough leverage there on Bradford, and another missed tackle out in space against the big tight end, and there's yards after contact.
Low snap, handoff inside to Milton. He eluded some contact in the backfield. Boy, it's been the yards before contact tonight.
Oh yeah, it looked like a face mask to me there by Dominic Williams, 52. He grabbed onto something.
I thought so. His head jerked back.
Yeah, I thought right to into the line of scrimmage. 52 grabbed on there. He sure did. No call there.
Dykes working the officials in the timeout because of the non-call pass interference.
And there's Bradford, and we just talked about he missed a tackle, or that's actually Bud Clark. Yeah.
He worked the play clock down. Bennett from the pocket flips it short and off the hands of Dijon Edwards, who just took a peek at where he was going to head after catching before he caught it.
It was crowded in there. You're right. He started to look at Jamoy Hodge. Sets up another 3rd down where Georgia's had a ton of success. 4 of 6. A lot of times, just like it is right now, those tight ends are flexed out. Try to create space over the middle. They're actually coming back down now. A little tighter formation.
Hypno-toed. TCU fans hoping that it will create some kind of a turnaround here, but that's reaching a bit. Ball to the end zone. Bowers, touchdown! And Bennett continues to dazzle. And Brock Bowers showing that he is one of the elite athletes in this sport.
So sometimes you create space by being on the outside. Here you create space with a condensed formation, and then you create the one-on-one matchup, and you work back out to the outside against Abe Kamara. in a mismatch. He's beat off the line of scrimmage. He's trying to play catch up, never locates the ball, and a great adjustment back to the ball by the big gifted tight end Bowers,
who has another year in college football. And that's bad news for Georgia opponents next year, because he looks Sunday ready right now, Mr. Herbstreit.
Yeah, he looked that way last year as a true freshman. Just a gifted player with a great mindset of wanting to get better. I can't imagine where he'll be next year, but he has had a heck of a night. 7 catches, 152, and a touch.
Georgia continues to be on the 1 point per play pace. 45 points, same number of plays. Into the third quarter, Kurt. The trailer for the new Marvel Studios Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, only in theaters on February 17th. Georgia's defense has been stout and aggressive from the start.
And the thing that I've really appreciated is how they are flying to the ball and playing with some confidence and some energy from the opening series. Blitzing a backer, Jamon Dumas-Johnson, he's been active tonight. All the backers have been. And then Jalen Carter. He got a little tired against Ohio State. That has not been the case tonight. Even when he doesn't necessarily get a pressure into a sack, he's still able to come up with impact in the game. And there's Nakobe Dean, the great leader, number 17 last year, this Georgia defense. Really the face, the soul of that defense. Here on the sideline, back to cheer on his dogs. I know he's fired up to see this game and the way this defense is playing.
Big shoes to fill for the linebackers who took his place and the others' place. They lost about 450 career tackles, those guys, and linebacker was a concern. It's Smile Munden, Dumas-Johnson, Beal, and Chambliss, who've been battling injuries in recent games, doing a remarkable job of reloading. Davis sidesteps a man and gets across the 30, but there is a flag thrown long distance. That looked like a downfield shot by the official. Traveled about 30 yards in the air. So we had a replay of that for you, Kirk.
It's good effort.
Heck of a throw.
Yeah.
Turn to return, holding, receiving team, number 81. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Holly, what do you have?
Well, significant news for Georgia's defense. Javon Bullard, who was so good in the first half with those interceptions, is out for the rest of the game. They haven't revealed his injury, but from what I can observe, he's got a significant ace bandage wrap on his left shoulder. You're talking about Jalen Carter and his performance tonight. Well, after that embarrassing game against Ohio State where he admits that he got fatigued, said he's been up early every day running 100-yard sprints and jogging, even before media day, up at 8 a.m. on the treadmill.
They look in shape tonight. Mercado still trying to run hard.
Holly, that's interesting. You know, because we talked about it during the game that their defensive line, and especially Jalen Carter, Ryan Day, and Ohio State's offense had a great plan for them to try to wear them out. And I think TCU saw that and thought, okay, we're going to try to do the same thing with some tempo and trying to get them worn out. And he did everything he could. I mean, that's good effort.
I hope it's a sturdy treadmill, by the way.
Right. No doubt.
Duggan pressured again on the run. Hasn't really been able to get loose and hurt Georgia as a scrambler tonight. Makes positive yards and does move the sticks that time.
Yeah, they brought both the middle linebackers here. Kind of a little crisscross. It's been effective. Well, anytime they come through the interior, they forcing Duggan to get out of there. This is what Duggan we thought would do a lot of tonight. His legs being a factor in getting away from the pressure and picking up first downs. It's one of the few times we've seen it.
The standards of college quarterbacks, Duggan was a very good quarterback this year when under pressure, but not in that first half. Sacked a couple of times through 2 interceptions when pressured by the Dogs. Looking to throw on first over the middle, low throw, and went down to gather it there. Catch is made. And it's Jacorius Spivey.
There's some positive yards on 1st and 10. Mixing Spivey in there along with Jared Wiley. Both tight ends have good size.
Georgia rotates in 3 new fresh bodies along the defensive front. It's a deep group. Long throw, Davis backpedals and makes the catch out across the 45. We saw in the second quarter Duggan press, and it's normal because his defense can't stop the other guys. Are getting farther and farther behind. So he's trying to make plays, but that clouds the decision-making process against the ball hockey defense like this.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point about the rotation up front. I mean, what an advantage with the depth that Georgia has. And there's not much of a drop-off. I mean, Jalen Carter gets a lot of attention, but the rest of those guys, they come in there and you still see size, girth, quickness.
Duggan scrambling again, flips it out, incomplete. That was DeMercado in the neighborhood, and that is Michael Williams, the freshman who knocked him down.
Here's Warren Brenson. I mean, it's very much, it's playing the same position. It's not 88. This is 97, but this is what you deal with. 88 goes out. And poor Wes Harris is like, oh my gosh, this is the backup? And he, meanwhile, is playing every snap, and Georgia keeps rotating, and they're fresh, and they're agile, and they're 320 pounds.
It's an offense that had 502 yards against Michigan. They ran it and threw it. Overmatched tonight. Duggan hammered, collected the snap, and collided with Big Bear Alexander. The true freshman has made 2 big plays tonight. And it's 4th down.
The Big Bear. Yeah, the big fella winning against Ali. It shows great balance here. I thought he might go down himself. You saw Duggan kind of slip. But the big man at over 300 pounds, he lost his footing a little bit and worked back into the inside and just blew up Duggan.
Sandy's boot will be fair caught back at the 15-yard line. The Stetson Bennett saga, another chapter to punctuate his Georgia career tonight. Goes back to work. Shout out to Ugga Tenkirk, who's 9 years old, couldn't make the trip. It was just too long for him to make the flight, so he's back in Athens checking it out.
Yeah, I'm glad we got a shot of this. You could see the redshirt freshman back in the backdraft there getting ready for his opportunity maybe down the road, but he's locked into the game. At least he's not asleep.
Do you know he's the winningest Ugga ever? Uggas have 1-loss records, and Ugga 10 is the winningest one, and no one's had a career. You got big shoes to fill, my friend.
Let the youngin' out.
Ugga 10 will have won 2 national championships, an SEC championship.
That's a pretty good run.
Match that legacy, fella.
Pretty good run. I was very disappointed to hear that the big man was not going to be out here, but at least he's enjoying it at home.
Edwards runs to the right, breaking tackles. You know that Bulldogs are not easy to fly long distance you in the plane. They have the breathing issues, as you well know as a dog lover.
Yeah, I didn't realize that I thought somebody might drive him out, but everything seems to be handled out here at 45-7 with 7:20 to go in the third quarter. Boy, this offense.
Like I said, I did my work in Atlanta with Ohio State. That was the game that many fans will say was the de facto championship game.
Yeah,
Ohio State had this team on the ropes. Georgia very nearly went down 18.
Although he was asleep a lot of that game, we kept showing shots of him. I remember
he woke up late, didn't he?
Yeah, when it really mattered there in the last couple possessions.
McConkey on the reverse, flashes his speed, and is knocked down across the 40. And Todd Monken continues to have fun with this big playbook.
Yeah, and Dylan Bell, receiver, sustaining his block there downfield. Nice job there of helping fellow receiver pick up that first down.
One of the most interesting things in this sport, covering Georgia the last couple of years, is the Monken-Bennett relationship. And Stetson called it kind of, quote, love-hate. At times he really didn't like Monken, who was front and center, in deciding that Bennett didn't deserve to be the starter when they elevated JT Daniels. And he had to work through that, not take it personally. They've had their good moments as well. Right down the field, throws it, and it's dropped. Getting both hands on it there was Arian Smith, the speedster. Abe Kamara in coverage.
Yeah, Abe Kamara was beaten on the play, but he fought through the body of Arian Smith. Track star with great speed in the slot. Little outside stem, goes to the post, has him beat. I'm not able to hold on to the ball, and good job by Kamara, who gave up that touchdown pass to Bowers. Even though he's beaten on the play, didn't give up on it. Fought through and knocked that ball loose. Kirby knew they were taking a shot and wanted another one.
10.18 100-meter speed. That's definitely world class. Of course, he had the big touchdown. Ohio State defensive back fell down. Play action, zipped across the middle, and that's beautifully executed. And A.D. Mitchell makes the catch.
There was contact there by Hodges Tomlinson, but still a heck of a throw and a catch. Can't tell if that ball hit the ground or if he was able to secure that.
Pass interference, defense number 1, 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Yeah, I think
penalty.
The penalty there. You can see the ball bounce out and then back up into his hands. Again, we've seen this matchup all night. We've talked a lot about the size. He had a step on him. And Hodges Tomlinson again he's had penalties called on him all year because of how physical he gets with those receivers. It's the way he makes up for it by only being 5'9".
Milton still fighting hard, gets to the 40. Just to pick up on that Monk and Bennett story, they're both econ majors, and Stetson says they kind of think along the same lines. They're analytical. It's the cost benefit, and Monken was just irate that Bennett would make these crazy decisions, not take care of the ball. I remember what Kirby Smart said about his quarterback on the right there. He's got to play much better tonight if we're going to win the championship. It was after throwing for almost 400 and 3 touchdowns and running for 1 against Ohio State.
But I think that's intentional because I think they know. I don't know if they necessarily believe that, but they know how he responds because of the way he feels like you're disrespecting him. He plays his best when he feels that way. So I think sometimes Kirby and Todd Monken publicly take some I don't want to say shots, but they challenge him because they know how he's going to go to work and how he potentially responds the next time out.
Now he's a little bit shy of 5'11", listed at that. Not very big. Extremely quick and fast. You've seen his arm. It wouldn't be called elite arm talent. A chance to play beyond this season at the next level?
I think so. He'd have to obviously go to the right system. It's like Brock Purdy, what he's done leaving Iowa State. He was Mr. Irrelevant. Nobody thought he had a chance. He goes to play with Kyle Shanahan and the offense that they're in, the structure they're in. I could easily see a Stetson Bennett in that kind of system being effective because he distributes the ball and he's intelligent.
3rd and 8, right down the seam, and there's Big O, Darnell Washington, joining the tight end party tonight down to the 11-yard line.
Well, you got motion with McConkey, and you got receiver going out, and then you get inside movement there with Darnell Washington, and nobody picks him up. The big man said, look at this seam. Our scouting report said these seams are going to be open, but there's nobody in the middle of the field. And he's throwing to a 6'7" tight end.
You saw it right from the first possession. A strength of Georgia's offense playing directly in to a serious weakness for TCU's defense, defending those seam routes, getting burned a lot this season on play action. That's also happened. McIntosh, TCU beginning to get downhill a little bit more against the run. That's McBradford on the stop.
In defense, a little bit of Georgia, their fan base. Everybody always talks about Stetson Bennett. They first said, oh, Georgia didn't believe in him. The coaches didn't believe in him. Until you really get to see what he can do, you look at him and it's easy to question him. I mean, Dwan Mathis in 2020 was a 5-star recruit. They thought he was the answer. They gave him the job. They had to play Stetson Bennett, and they didn't necessarily think he was the guy, but they did this. So this debate goes all the way back to 2020. And even through last year with JT Daniels.
McIntosh takes the flip pass and cuts it back. Just the way his career started with some heartbreak. The detour to junior college in Mississippi, coming back and looking like a long shot to ever start a game. Daniels comes in, we talked about that, and he'll finish his career with 2 national championships, most outstanding player, I think it's a lock tonight, in all 4 playoff games he's played in, and an SEC championship this year. Are you kidding me with that legacy? It's going to be a long, long time before we see that equaled in this sport.
Could argue going to be the most decorated quarterback in this college football playoff era.
Heisman finalist as well this season, the first in 30 years for Georgia. Bennett once more goes to the end zone. McConkey with another touchdown catch. Not done dominating yet. They've hit half 100 now.
Well, that's his guy, McConkey. Had him in the inside. Able to get him matched up one-on-one. And honestly, Bradford, who was in coverage, I don't know if he didn't think the ball was coming. It kind of looked like he gave up on the play towards the end. Maybe he knew it was going to be another perfectly thrown ball rifled in there by Stetson Bennett.
I think he's got a real connection with McConkey because, like him, McConkey was not a 4 or 5-star player. His dad went on an official visit to Georgia with Kirby Smart back when Kirby was a young recruit. So you remember the name.
Yeah.
Offered McConkey, maybe not quite think he was going to make this kind of an impact in his career. But Ladd couldn't go much last game. A couple touchdowns tonight. Last touchdown on ESPN Sync. Watch Kirby Smart upper right. Like a little kid jumping for joy. And Sonny Dykes less joyful, saying wow, wow a couple times.
That was after that throw. I think he's probably to the point where he's like, wow, this quarterback Bennett is that good.
He's now equaled Joe Burrow's record in the BCS and CFP eras. That's 25 years, 6 touchdowns responsible for. 4 pass, 2 run for Bennett. Burrow threw for 5, ran for 1 in that rout in the Superdome over Clemson in the championship game 3 years ago. Think about the All-State celebrating every field goal in PAT by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Kirk would like to spin ahead, even though it's still the 3rd quarter. Stanford Steve checking in. You know the favorite to win next year's national championship?
I'm going to guess Georgia.
You're looking at him?
Yeah, I think Georgia may be.
This guy won't be there. There'll be a new quarterback, but a lot of the same players. And a very, very favorable schedule for Georgia next season. I mean, it'd be shocking, frankly, if they lost any other game except perhaps they got to go to Tennessee.
And the question this year was, how do they replace 5 first-rounders on defense? Came back this year, and their offense became a strength defense. A young defense got better and better to the point where they are now for Kirby. Next year, it's going to be, as you said, is Carson Beck going to be the guy? Is he ready to take over and become the new quarterback to run this offense?
He's ready right now, Coach, if you want to give Stetson a curtain call. Duggan, happy feet. Can he escape? Still alive for now, looking to make a play. And will throw all the way back across the field, but it's over the head of Davis. It's been that kind of night for Max Duggan. Great effort, but not a result.
When you blitz these linebackers, what it does, blitz the backer creates one-on-one opportunities for these defensive linemen, Warren Brinson. See that? The back has to get involved. You get a one-on-one matchup. You got good coverage downfield. Now, Brinson didn't come down with that sack. But again, when he comes in for Jalen Carter, what an upside 97 has on this Georgia front. Speaking of next year and the odds, he's going to be a big factor in that.
Carter will be playing on Sundays, but there are 2 other true freshmen in this defensive front right now for Georgia. They've already done a lot tonight. Alexander and Williams. Slant, Davis has some space. Darius Davis made a cut and then stumbled forward inside the Georgia 45.
Yeah, they went right after the blitz where Georgia tried to bring Smith. See 23? He was lined up across from Darius Davis, and good job of recognizing that by Max Duggan with that pressure. He turned and flipped it, and then there's the potential of what we might see tonight with the yards after the catch, with the speed from that slot position with Tay Barber, in this case Davis.
TCU playing for a little pride here, trying to stop the Georgia run. 42 straight points since TCU scored to cut it to a 10-7 game. Horned Frogs, by the way, aren't going anywhere. They figure to be the favorite in the Big 12. Sonny Dykes will get about 35 to 40 new players on the roster next year. They'll lose a bunch, but that's the new normal in this sport. They'll hit the portal hard. Interest is way up. They've recruited well for them. So TCU not performing the way they'd hoped to tonight, but they're going to be a factor in their conference in years to come. And therefore in the playoff when it expands. Duggan around the end, dives out of bounds.
You know, sometimes you get in these games, and the Big 12 and the Pac-12, you think about this playoff era, a lot of times they've been criticized about whether or not they deserve a chance. Oklahoma's had a few chances over the past, and when they've gotten in, it hasn't always gone that well, and now you get TCU. And right now they're down 52-7. So sometimes you're not just representing yourself. It creates a narrative out there, right? For the SEC is so much powerful. And look what's happening to TCU in the Big 12.
A quarter to go here in LA. Check out now a new trailer for Marvel Studios' Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Only in theaters beginning on February 17th. Enjoy. Got a quarter away from the confetti here in LA. The CFP National Championship presented by AT&T. TCU on the move. But Georgia in total command as they have been really since early stages of the second quarter. Duggan on third and long, flips it short. DeMarcado's hit behind the line immediately by Kamari Lassiter, and it's fourth down and long.
Lassiter's played a great game. And he's been tight in coverage. He's just played with an edge tonight, coming up, being physical in support against the run. Short throw, he comes up, makes a good play there. You can just feel his energy. I bet he's been challenged after the way the Ohio State game went last week. He and Ringo both.
If I told you that Quentin Johnston-Kirk would have one catch for 3 yards, would you have believed me?
No.
3/4.
No way.
Lassiter deserves a good bit of the credit for that. Obviously rose to the matchup here tonight, but it's been a team effort for the Dogs, including pressuring Duggan to try to make something happen on 4th and 11. Pressured again as he throws very nearly his third pick. It was Smith throw off target because he just couldn't get his feet set.
No, and again, they walk the backers up like a mug look, and then they kind of drop them. The pressure comes from here, from the outside here. Looked like Williams, the freshman. And again, you don't have to sack him. You just hit him. Make him feel that pressure. Affect his feet. And ultimately, you affect the accuracy of the throw.
We talked about the mug look. Let's explain that. It's a huge trend in college football. It's come down from Sunday where you show a bunch of guys at the line, 5, 6, 7 guys, but only rush 4. QB doesn't know which 4, though, until the ball snaps.
But not the QB. The offensive line has no idea. You know, you walk those linebackers down in those gaps, and you give them a look, you make that offensive line almost guess where that pressure will come from.
Spreading the wealth around. It's a carry for Branson Robinson, the true freshman.
Boy, is he a good-looking young back. 5'10", 220. You know, you always see McIntosh, Milton, and Edwards getting ready for the Ohio State game. I was like, man, 22, the freshman. Boy, what an upside he has, bringing him up to Kirby, and Kirby kind of just a rare smirk and smile about what he's going to do in this Georgia program in the future. Just a true freshman.
It's a roster built on 5 stars and 4 stars. They just dominate the roster. It's almost crazy how many 5 stars they have on defense. TCU just not built the same way, and Georgia continues to stack recruiting classes on top of each other. They don't use the portal. They don't have to.
It's a Stetson Bennett curtain call here.
Here we go. Bennett caps a career that began with no scholarship offer at Georgia. He'll leave with a legacy unlike anybody else at this school. 2-time national championship quarterback. No doubt most outstanding player in his 4th playoff game. Not even he could have dreamt this. Well, the rain is coming in from one end. It's insult to injury. It's only raining on the TCU folks in that upper section. But what a moment moments ago before the break as Stetson Bennett capped his Georgia career with a curtain call. So emotional after the semifinal win over Ohio State. So nervous watching that final Ohio State drive, seeing Stroud in the offense coming up a little bit short. Kirby calling that timeout, saying, stay there, stay there. Just give me 13.
13. Come here, that's it.
And Bennett, who left everything on the field. He was so exhausted he couldn't get out of bed after that Ohio State win. Leaves a lot on the tank, and they're bowing with their cell phones from ringside to the rafters. 5 decks of Georgia fans off to our left, celebrating this quarterback.
What a story. One of the all-time stories, man.
Sure is.
Disney's got to do a movie on that.
Beck now spelling him. Keeps the beat going to Kearis Jackson. I mean, listen, if he came in as a 5-star, it'd be a story of incredible achievement. But the way that his career began, the detour that he took, and never believing when everybody, including the coaches, told him, you're not good enough. You're not our guy.
Honestly, man, I think the only people that believed in him besides himself were his parents and his family. I think that's where he was as a walk-on when he left into a junior college and came back. And even then when he came back for 2 years, it wasn't like he came back and all is well. He battled for 2 more years to try to earn that respect and just never stopped, never quit. And to have what he's achieved is incredible.
Juan Mathis struggled as a starter. He got his chance. He came in, but then JT Daniels had to get hurt to give him a chance.
That's right. You and I opened the season at 21 with Clemson and Georgia in Charlotte, and JT Daniels was the guy. Everybody was bragging because of the way he ended the year in 2020, the last 3 or 4 games. Everybody was excited. He was a Heisman frontrunner, JT Daniels. And Bennett just kind of kept waiting for his opportunity. And
they're showing him on the screen, and Georgia fans are continuing to shower him with love. He grew a lot as a person. His college career has taken forever. He's 25 years old, and he talked about growing up, trying to turn some of that anger and frustration and bitterness, dark times into personal growth, and I think he has. He'll always carry that chip with him. I think it'll always be a part of him, Kirk. But he's grown a lot.
Yeah, he should never lose that. I mean, that's part of what makes him who he is. And to be able to maintain that through the compliments is tough to do. You know, Carson Beck, who's in for him, we touched on him. I know he is really well-respected quarterback who came in with a lot of accolades. I know he works out with a couple guys I knew down in Jacksonville. Will Hewlett and Denny Thompson both work on these quarterbacks and continue to help with their mechanics. He has tremendous ability and will be probably the guy next year.
Played in 6 games this season. Loops the ball downfield, and only had a couple of attempts and 1 completion since mid-October, so he hasn't played much down the stretch. Holly?
Well, guys, you talk about the competitive spirit of Stetson Bennett. It started early in his life. His dad told me when he was 3 or 4 years old, he came to him and said, I'm going to be the quarterback at Georgia. He would run around the house training, doing calisthenics, and his mom, Denise, would say, what are you training for? And he would say, the championship. He has had an eye on this prize since he was a tiny kid in Blackshear, Georgia, and it's coming true tonight for him back-to-back. It is rare air for Stetson Bennett, but he had this vision all along.
Folks in Blackshear like to say, hey, we believe from the start. That was their rallying cry a year ago when he won his first championship. That got a slant. That's a good-looking throw to Dylan Bell, a true freshman.
There's that arm. There are a lot of Georgia fans that are excited about, again, what Beck will be able to do in this offense. But tonight, of course, again, is about 13.
His whole journey and all he's achieved, he said this is the first year where he felt comfortable, like, hey, I'm not going to get pulled if I make a mistake. Imagine going through all that, even as you're on the way to the championship.
That position, looking over your shoulder. They lost to Alabama and Atlanta in the SEC title. People wanted him out before the Michigan game.
For that. Enough inside, and there's that good-looking freshman, Branson Robinson, who's still running, by the way, dragging people into the end zone. Actually, they're going to spot him just short. Not quite a touchdown, but shows you the strength that you were just admiring.
Oh, my gosh, is this guy beautiful. You know, these guys come in and you think, okay, it's the backups, no problem. Wrong. These guys are swinging as hard, if not harder, than the starters.
He's got it again, and this time will not be denied. They haven't signaled yet. He's got to be falling in the end zone. It is finally a touchdown. So Branson Robinson, freshman from Mississippi, gets in the scorebook of a championship game. Prolonged celebration continues.
Watch this, the run, not the touchdown, but the play before. It looks like he's down, but this gives you an idea of what he can do. The leg drive, the desire, the want to be able to carry people, tries to get him into the end zone, came up just short, and then finishes it off the next play for the touchdown.
Dogs go over 200 rushing yards, and now 539 total yards. Yeah, it was a show of strength from the start.
Couple names to remember for Georgia next year: Carson Beck and Branson Robinson. Be seeing those names and numbers quite a bit next year.
Big shoes to fill, right? 59-7.
The College Football Playoff National Championship is presented by AT&T 5G. Too much college football is never too much. And in part by delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. Verbo, a place for together. And Taco Bell, celebrating students by giving 500 free tickets to each school's students for tonight's national championship game.
It's kind of wild, the sideways rain blowing in under the roof here, all the way across the other end of the field. Goodyear providing aerial coverage, celebrating the challenge of road games everywhere. Are you ready for the road? Goodyear, more driven.
We heading down to Santa Monica after this, right? Get on a few rides?
We're staying near there.
I know you would love
maybe
that.
a beverage involved somewhere near there, but I don't see a ride in my evening.
Nah, I don't think so. They shut it down.
I got Georgia fans as you do. They're partying here in LA. Party began an hour and a half ago in the state of Georgia.
Some of my buddies who are Georgia fans, they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, my guy Mike Mills, who was with Aaron Indy to celebrate it.
Remember that last year?
REM star, enjoying it again tonight.
Hi, I'm Vince Dooley. For over 100 years, the University of Georgia has enjoyed one of the nation's top football traditions.
The game is over. Georgia has won.
What I want to do is go hug my players. Winning a national championship brings a tremendous amount of pride in any place, any city. It was a great, great moment.
A gentleman, decency, dignity, as the confetti fell with Vince Dooley and Kirby Smart. Vince seeming to tell him, I told you this is possible. And that was the championship, the first one since Vince's national championship in 1980. Kirby continues to spend some timeouts for curtain calls here. Who's he calling over here? Oh boy, he's got some of the veterans here. Chris Smith, Keely Ringo, these are the guys who have used up eligibility or are expected to move on. Jalen Carter, take a bow. Curtain calls continue in LA. We'll take a break. The Moss student section. Folks given free tickets on both sides. 9:20 to play. DeMercado's just had a tough night from the start. The TCU ground game has really been stopped behind the line, off in the backfield, invaded. Georgia backups continue to play with intensity here.
Marshall that time getting in as a backup linebacker, but the plan doesn't change. Then Schumann and Kirby Smart continuing to be aggressive with those off the ball linebackers with their blitz.
4 true freshmen in the field at the moment for Georgia's defense, and they continue to get after the veteran quarterback and drop him behind the line. That's Tyke Smith. Sack number 4.
And they just keep bringing the pressure. 23 right there. Smith, the West Virginia transfer. He tries to escape that, but there's 97 again. Warren Brinson. What a game he's had. Rotating in again for Jalen Carter, but being very effective living in the backfield of TCU's offense.
Now Mosley is like a plugger, right? A run stopper, but he has been invading the backfield tonight. 3rd and 21 for Dugan. Duggan escapes pressure again, under duress, delivers a ball. It's going to be caught by Blair Conright.
I don't know how he stayed up. I mean, he was surrounded by Georgia. They rushed 4 with some movement, but he somehow navigates his way around. There's the pressure. Watch him keep his eyes downfield. Avoids one guy, avoids another. His own offensive lineman. He throws sidearm and completes it.
4th and 6. Georgia brings pressure again, and down goes Duggan. That's true freshman Jalen Walker. Aggression from the first play, and it hasn't let up.
They slid that offensive line down to the inside. There's nobody there to pick up Walker. I mean, the back tries to, but late. So again, as much as we've been bragging about the offensive preparation for Georgia with Todd Monken, Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann putting together a heck of an aggressive package of confusion to give TCU fans a long night of looking like that.
So Georgia will take over in the red zone after the sack. We said nice things about Bennett, and it's Stetson's night, but Max Duggan will cap off this. Not the way he wanted to, but has had a tremendous career at TCU. Hung in, quarterback of some not very good teams. And let's go to Branson Robinson one more time, and the freshman just scoots in. And Georgia hits the 60 mark.
Great job on that left side. Again, when they put their backups in, they don't slow down. I mean, the execution's not going to change. They're not going to work the clock. Watch the left side, combo block, climb to the linebacker. He's met in the hole by the nose guard, Williams, and he just kind of stutters his step and gets to the end zone. Little stutter step, creates that hesitation, and then for a big guy, he can accelerate. It's the AT&T pylon, 5G pylon cam.
Georgia's relentlessness, and that's a missed PAT. Wow, that is definitely a news flash. And Lesney hasn't done that. I don't think he's done it in his life. So we're sitting on 65-7.
How are you? I'm Scott Van Pelt, and we're getting set for SportsCenter. All the angles of this historic beatdown are coming your way. Exclusive interviews with Kirby Smart and Sonny Dykes. We'll bring you the scene in Athens. They don't need much of an excuse for a party down there, but they got one cooking, I'm sure. We'll get it back to Los Angeles. Chris and Kirk will talk.
Scotty, can't we do the post-game segment right now? Are you sure we can't?
Scotty, just hang along here for us. Only 7 minutes to go. Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk shortly. Yes, sir.
Here's the Ramtrex post-game here on ESPN afterward. You mentioned the celebration in Athens. They do know how to party there. I think they've been ringing the victory bell maybe for the last couple hours. Back in the day, the freshmen used to have to go up there and they were required to ring it like till midnight of a Georgia win in a day game.
When did this one for you feel like that? That's been going on since around 8:30. What time did you feel like the game was in hand?
In hand.
Yeah, I mean, did it feel like
mid-second quarter?
Mid-second.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not being funny. I mean, no. When it was 17-7, when they immediately answered TCU's score and then got off the field again, I think things became desperate for Max Duggan, right? And he began to press a little bit. And we started to say some nice things about him. Look, it's so enjoyable to cover this sport when there's guys like Max Duggan. And Bennett's story is well chronicled, and it will end in a couple of championships. But this guy persevered, and hung around, and was just kind of a model teammate. You know, told, hey, you're QB2 to begin the season. And here he is, Heisman finalist, getting his team to the championship game. They were overmatched tonight, but we're not going to forget the kind of season that he had and the way that he put his heart and guts on the line, rushing for 95 yards in one drive to get into overtime against K-State.
Yeah, overmatched tonight. Not Duggan, but the entire Kansas State team, and for him, the offensive line. It was just a mismatch. Doesn't take anything away from the year he has had. In fact, the career he has had and the things he's had to overcome. And we thought we'd be talking about him a lot tonight. We thought we'd be talking about he and Stetson Bennett, but it's been a one-man show and a one-team show. But again, we'll always remember Duggan for the year he had. You had him up in New York at the Heisman ceremony with the rest of the finalists. Just a class guy, and Dad's a high school coach. Just does all the things you want to see. And I'm sure he'll get an opportunity to get a look at the next level as well.
Telling us that he lays in bed and for about a half hour visualizes everything he wants to happen in a championship game, and he couldn't have visualized anything tonight. This would not have been how we would hope and have. Chandler Morris, by the way, who's in the game, he was the guy that beat out Duggan fair and square. Max admits it in camp, then got injured against Colorado in the opener, and Duggan just took over after that.
Yeah, his dad is Chad Morris, who had a great career as a high school coach, went up to Clemson as a coordinator, got Clemson's offense kind of going, and then became a head coach at SMU in Arkansas. And his son, I think, another guy who's a son of a football coach, knows what to do with that football, and they have high hopes for him next year.
TCU will open their season at home against Coach Prime. and the extremely rebuilt Colorado Buffaloes. He was in the building tonight.
He was on game day with us, and he actually gave us some news. This is for you. Breaking news from Prime. They're actually not going to be opening up with Colorado. Colorado's going to open up with Arizona State in their first game, and then they're going to play TCU in their second game.
Oh, sneak a kind of a week 0 in there.
Yeah, it looks like they're sneaking around there a little bit, but that was just told to me from Coach Prime tonight.
Well, nothing's going to be easy, but I'm going to be intrigued to see what he can do. Arizona State feels like an easier opener than TCU.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. You guys kind of been off the grid for about 20 years, so it's good. It's good to have you back. Come on, you're coming back. See you.
You're going to give me shots. We're all just trying to keep folks interested and entertained tonight.
We're having fun. I'm just saying, Colorado been off the grid here for a little bit, and in 1 week, Coach Prime gets, I think, some buzz at Colorado for next year.
Well, next year, let's talk about this Georgia team. They're going to be back-to-back champions, and again, lose a bunch of dudes to the draft, reload. Very favorable schedule next year. You're talking about UT Martin, Ball State, and UAB. That's sort of the opening to things, and then they go into the SEC. And
I got them in the playoff.
They got Tennessee on the road, and
before they say no one's picking them to go to the playoff next year, put me down as check that box. They're in the playoff.
Me too.
So we'll get 2.
Aaron Brown, Bill Lamagne's got him. Your wife
Billy,
Allison, everybody up here's got him in the playoff. Yeah,
she's got him.
They're just breaking all kinds of records. Again, the BCS era began in '98. So 25 years of time, nobody's put 65 on the board. It's not surprising. It's very, very rare for a top 5 matchup in the history of the sport to get out of hand like this. Off the right side, Savon Clark, and the beat goes on as the backups continue to make plays. Holly?
Well, as people look at the scoreboard and might ask themselves, what's Georgia doing? Why are they running up the score like this? Well, I'll tell you why. Kirby Smart's mantra all year has been leave no doubt, and he actually had them meet with the team psychologist Drew Brannon yesterday morning. He showed them a video of Kobe Bryant during the Redeem Team documentary, and Kobe Bryant ran through the chest, ran over his Lakers teammate Pau Gasol when they were playing against them in the Olympics. He said, I wanted to show that example that no matter what happens, no matter what that guy means to you, you have to have a single-minded finish and focus. And that's what we're seeing from Georgia. They're not going to leave any doubt. They're not going to give up right now. Kobe taught him that.
Certainly, no doubt. I wouldn't call this running up the score. They're just running, and they're just running right through TCU. Didn't matter.
But I really love what Holly's saying about the attitude. You know, I think that's who Georgia is with Kirby Smart. Regardless of the score, they just keep battling. The backups get in, they get their opportunity. It's not 4 corners of, speaking of basketball, it's work clock. It is continue to, right now they're thinking of a touchdown. Yeah, I guarantee you they're thinking they want 70 points. So they're just always competing, and I love the Kobe example of that. Show them an example. Don't just tell them a story, show it to them.
Apropos to our setting tonight in LA.
What does this mean, you think, for TCU and the Big 12 in this era of realignment, the future of 12-team playoff? We don't know what the future is, really, of all these other conferences except the SEC and the Big 10. Wonder what this means for the Big 12. Not necessarily to
expand. They want to bring in some fresh teams. Obviously, they're going to lose Texas and Oklahoma to the SEC. But we'll continue to battle to be relevant, and I think TCU may become the flag-carrying program of this conference.
But I just think, Chris, it's another brick in that foundation of that narrative that other conferences can't compete with the big spending and the big brands of the SEC and the Big 10. The Pac-12 and the Big 12, even before all this started, the realignment again, they were already dealing with that. And then you see the results of this, and you can just imagine that being spewed all around, that TCU and the Big 12 shouldn't even be, in a game like this. Hey, they earned it. They got here, but then they play it 65-7.
Well, Georgia and the SEC and the Deep South will win another championship. The SEC is going to go to 14-3 in the playoff against other conferences, to your point. Some of those wins in very dominant fashion. And they will just take a knee.
Kirby just got the bucket. Remember last year they won it in Indy, and he was like off to recruiting. I was like, man, if you win this, you're gonna enjoy this. Oh, we got the roster to get ready. Oh, they missed it. It looks like he's enjoying this one. Back to back, man. You do not see this in college football. 11-12 with Alabama. Got to go way back. You know, you could throw in USC technically, I guess, 03 and 04. Nebraska in the mid-90s. Just doesn't happen. It's hard to keep a team motivated in back-to-back years. Now they'll go for the trifecta next year.
And they'll be the favorites, we're told. When Saban's teams did it back-to-back, neither team went undefeated. And Georgia backs up a 14-1, the one loss to Bama, which they, of course, avenged with a 15-0. This feels different than last year. They had to finally conquer the Crimson Tide. But the Georgia Bulldogs bludgeoned their way to back-to-back. Glory, glory, Georgia, as the fight song says. Leaving no doubt. That's been the mantra. They made it real tonight. Respect for these two warrior quarterbacks, Heisman finalists. Belongs to Stetson Bennett, who leaves a legacy very few will be able to match. Back-to-back championships, no doubt the most outstanding player for a fourth time in a CFP game. Throws for 304 and 4 touchdowns, runs for a couple touchdowns. Ali?
Stetson, having just a few words with Coach Dykes. You took a moment as this game is winding down to look up and soak in this moment. What is washing over you right now, Stetson?
I don't know. I don't know, man. Champion to the whole damn world, man. I don't know. Just trying to see everybody for the last time, you know, hug everybody. Try not to cry, you know. I don't know.
Early in this game, you ran it in. You used your legs twice. How did you set the tone for your team in this moment?
We knew with their defense that my legs were going to be a part of it. Monk made, you know, 2 great calls, and I just trusted it and went out there and they made blocks. And I mean, I didn't get touched on both ones, so, you know, I don't know.
Coach has talked to you when you walked off the field. There was a moment that the entire crowd is on their feet cheering for you, giving you a curtain call in a national championship game. That doesn't happen often. What did you think when that happened?
Yeah, it does not happen. It does not happen with Coach Smart, I can tell you that. I mean, that was special. I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
He pulled you in and whispered something in your ear. What did he tell you?
He just told me he loved me. And just the journey that we've been through together. You know, and that dude right there, Rich, golly. I mean, just seeing everybody who was here from when I got here, and they're still here, and we're back to back. I don't know, just,
For a kid from Blackshear, Georgia, what do you say to your hometown, all the people there who have believed in you from the very beginning?
Well, it's God's country. It's the greatest place on earth, and it made me who I was today. That, Blackshear, Nahunta, I gotta give Nahunta a shout out too. I love those people. The Herons and the Bears, baby. They made me who I was, and I can't wait to get back there.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. You're back-to-back champ. Chris?
Almost at a loss for words, as we are when you describe his story and his legacy. Taking it all in for the last time. This is the definition of going out on top in college football.
You know, sometimes it's not about the money, right? The NIL dollars. It's about the experience. It's about the moment. It's about memories that you create for yourself and your team and your fans. And that's what we just witnessed.
All's well that ends well, and it ends spectacularly. It has been a journey unlike any other. There was some anger, some hatred, and some bitterness along the way. He came through all that and delivered 2 spectacular seasons along with his teammates. This was a total team effort in all phases by Georgia, really from the start. The kind of dominance we have not seen in a championship game.
Yeah, congratulations to Kirby Smart, the Georgia Bulldogs, on an incredible accomplishment. Outstanding, fun to watch.
Well, much more to break down and to look ahead. Bill Bennett produced the game. Derek Motley directed it. 65-7 is the final for the Dogs. Much more coverage coming up.
Thanks for watching this special presentation of ESPN, home of the College Football Playoff National Championship game, presented by AT&T.
It's time now for the Ram Trucks postgame. Well, throughout the evening, welcome back to the Ram Trucks postgame. There's Brock Bowers. Holly getting set to talk to him. 7 catches, 152 yards, and a touchdown. And let's hear from Kirby Smart now with Molly McGrath.
Coach, you told this team to leave no doubt. How did they do that with this dominant performance today?
Really aggressive plan, not holding back anything. We wanted our kids to play without fear. And all year I told them, I said, we ain't getting hunted, guys. We're doing the hunting, and hunting season's almost over. We only got one more chance to hunt, and we hunted tonight.
Back-to-back national championships, the first time that's ever happened in the college football playoff era. Why could this team get that done?
Because they had a will to work. They didn't listen to what everybody said about them, and everybody doubted them to start the year, and that chip on the shoulder was just big enough to create an edge for our team, because every time they got doubted, they came out fighting.
Speaking of chips on shoulders, Stetson Bennett's career here has been full of obstacles and triumph. What has he meant to you? What has he meant to this program?
Well, he's meant a lot to me personally because of what he's gone through and what he's put up with from the outside noise. But to this university, for a kid that was told he wasn't good enough, to come back and win 2 national championships, and he's really phenomenal. I mean, he did some things tonight that are just electric, and he's one of a kind. He's a special football player, and he should get many opportunities to keep playing.
Coach, how has Georgia become one of the most benchmark programs in college football?
Just hard work. I mean, we don't run from work. Our kids don't run from work. We go out there on Tuesday, Wednesday, and we hit the other day, and all the kids were like, Coach, we got to keep doing it. It's who we are. And as long as you don't have entitlement in your program, you got a shot. And right now we don't have that. It's creeping. The games like tonight make it that way, but we got a lot of humble guys.
All right, congratulations on the win, Coach.
Thank you so much to Georgia fans that came out. Awesome. Go Dogs.
All right, thank you,
relentless attention to detail. He didn't learn that from Nick Saban. That was always in Kirby Smart as a player and assistant coach, but certainly a great example from his years at Alabama, and now he's taking it to Georgia.
Yeah, and I love that. He said when entitlement creeps in, you got a problem. And we don't have entitlement. We got workers. They like to hit. They like to lift weights. Do all the things that sometimes you don't want to do. They do it on a regular basis. And these are the kind of results you're capable of having. And some pretty good players. That helps.
A whole lot of good players. That won't change. So Georgia, as they light up the victory cigars on the field,
here he comes.
Goes back-to-back. And you go back to 1980. And it's been hard to do. And Tom Osborne and the Cornhuskers did it. They also won in '97. Pete Carroll at SC's. They shared one of those titles. Saban, of course, back-to-back with Smart on the staff there. And in terms of quarterbacks, Tommy Frazier, Matt Leinart, A.J. McCarron, and now Stetson Bennett, quarterbacks of back-to-back national champions. It's a very exclusive club behind that velvet rope there.
That's pretty sweet.
Georgia fans, congrats on being CFP national champions. Get all the official locker room merchandise right now. The CFP Players official online store. Go to shop.collegefootballplayoff.com to order. Victory cigars have been a long tradition in the sport. I think in terms of championship, kind of Joe Burrow.
I think Joe Burrow brought it back
a few years ago.
Brought it back, yeah.
Now you see high school kids doing it. No comment on that, but
well, Joe Burrow's that kind of guy. What a night he had, man. Jalen Carter
off to the NFL. I mean, his draft stock was already sky high, but as he hugs with Todd Monken there, what a tremendous season this guy has had as a play caller and postseason especially.
Todd Monken was on fire tonight with his plan. Handed the baton to Stetson Bennett. The two of them were in step and in sync all night long.
Stetson Bennett was 6 total touchdowns. It began with this scamper. AT&T 5G pylon cam showing you how easy it was on this play and really throughout the night. Curtain call to remember.
The Ram Trucks postgame is presented by Ram Trucks, built to serve.
Overwhelming from the start here. Scott Van Pelt, live postgame. More coverage from here at SoFi Stadium. And back at Buffalo, just terrific news. DeVar Hamlin released from the hospital.
Back to Buffalo. Wow, incredible.
Total yards, Kirk, 589 to 188, a 401-yard edge. Dominance that we probably will not see again, I would wager to see in a championship game.
No, and they were in control offensively. We talked about it all night, the job that Stetson Bennett did. They were running the football early, the zone read, and you saw him, his quickness, what he can do, and he gets to the second level. Great to see McConkey healthy, and each night, each series, it seemed Stetson Bennett was finding ways to get him the football. A.J. Mitchell with a nice fade with a one-handed catch, and what a night by Brock Bowers, 7 for 152 in the touchdown.
Defense did their job. 5 sacks by the Dogs defense. They consistently pressured and harassed Max Duggan. And there were 3 turnovers by TCU, and those takeaways turned into 17 points by Georgia. I mean, that's just ridiculous. We saw Joe Burrow have that incredible game in the Superdome, and you wonder, would you see another quarterback produce 6 total touchdowns in a championship game? And we have 3 years later.
He's played in 4 playoff games.
Yeah.
Already been named the MVP for 3.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
Yeah. I was going to say, it's not bad. Like 4 for 4. With 2 national titles.
And the SEC title they got this year was a big part of that too. That got the Georgia folks fired up because it didn't happen every day either. Bowers has got another year to play for this Georgia offense. They'll continue to be a problem for every Georgia opponent. SEC, continues to dominate. They didn't win the first year of the playoff. That was Ohio State beating Alabama in the semifinals. Clemson's got a couple of championships, but that's really it. It's been SEC all over the place since then. 6 of 9 in the playoff era, and Alabama will be second favorite after Georgia, probably to win the championship next year. Ohio State certainly in the mix, but this conference isn't going anywhere. I heard Kirby Smart give his endorsement for this quarterback having a chance to continue to play more football at the next level. That'll be an interesting topic in the coming months. How will he look in the workout? What team will take a chance on him and give Bennett a chance?
Like I told you, from doing a lot of NFL games this year, we're in an interesting time in the NFL with quarterbacks where the traditional big names like a Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees, of course, is gone, and Phillip Rivers is gone, and now you're seeing more of a change, a different style quarterback, and a willingness to bring in a guy who's maybe not your traditional 6'4" type of guy, and I think he'll get a look.
Well, let's go down to the stage. The trophy presentation. Reese Davis.
Chris, thank you very much. The most emphatic, dominant championship performance in the modern era of college football. And once again, the Georgia Bulldogs are national champions. We offer our congratulations to TCU on a terrific season, but now to present the national championship trophy, here is the executive director of the College Football Playoff, Mr. Bill Hancock.
Thank you, Reese. I'm here on behalf of the conferences and institutions that manage the College Football Playoff, and it's my honor to present the National Championship Trophy once again to Coach Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Kirby, what a spectacular performance. You talked about aggression. You talked about leaving no doubt. Now that you've accomplished back-to-back championships, how do you describe the legacy that this team leaves?
This Bulldog Nation leaves a legacy for coming all the way out to Cali and representing our home university and our state. These kids have been unbelievable all year. People have doubted them since the start of the year, and the staff, the organization, everybody's done a tremendous job.
When you think about what it took to keep the focus going and the difficulty, which you know better than anyone else, how difficult it is to repeat, what quality did this team show that allowed them to do that?
A lot of grit, a lot of toughness, but the word we use around our place is connection. Every one of our guys know we stay connected, we're hard to beat.
We're hard to beat tonight. That was as good a championship performance as we've seen in any sport in a long time, and perhaps ever. Kirby, congratulations. And I guess the way things are going the last couple of years, we'll see you in Houston next year.
Go Dogs.
He's not going to bite on that one just yet. And if the theme of the night is repeat, the players of the game both repeating from the semifinals. For the second straight year, the offensive MVP of the national championship game is Stetson Bennett. Stetson, you accounted for 6 touchdowns. That matches Joe Burrow college football playoff record. And we talked a lot about this story that you've been on and writing the ending near Hollywood. How would you describe the way you authored the ending to your Georgia career?
That's a hell of a question. I don't know. We had I think Monk said he was going to retire after tonight because that was a hell of a game plan. I don't think I got touched all night. I ran in 2 touchdowns. Anybody could have done that. Unbelievable team performance. 7 points. Hell of a job by the defense. I love this team. I love those fans. I love our band. I love everybody. Back to back, baby. Back to back.
For so long, you used that chip on your shoulder, and now you're getting these accolades. How did you envision this in your mind as opposed to how this is played out on not only this stage, but the one last year?
Oh, yeah, I didn't dream this, man. I was just trying to do my job, and we ended up here, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, yeah.
Mailman delivered again. Stetson, congratulations. Stetson Bennett, offensive MVP. And just as he did in the semifinal, Javon Bullard is the defensive player of the game. Javon? Three turnovers in the first half. You guys were able to put this game away. How would you describe the aggression with which the defense played?
I just want to thank God first and this coaching staff, man. They put together a great plan, and we just executed it to the fullest, man. I couldn't be proud of a team.
Go get healthy. Enjoy this national championship, man. Congratulations. And as they say in Athens town, Chris, friends, it's time once again to let the big dog eat. And they flat ate tonight. Georgia national champions.
They made a meal of TCU. You're right about that. Bullard and Bennett, 2 natives of Georgia, the MOPs on both sides of the ball. Big few cigars will continue to be smoked. The party unfolding, the victory bell ringing. Ugga 10 watching, or maybe he's gone to bed by now.
He shut it down by now, but this is all about Georgia. Great to hear Stetson Bennett one last time up on that stage, victorious. This thing ended, his story ended his way, and this Georgia team ended this night their way. Back-to-back champions and dominating fashion. It was fun.
You know what's even harder than going back-to-back, Kurt?
Back-to-back,
which has never been done in the polls.
Oh, there it is.
Never been done since 1936. So there's the next.
There's the next motivation. Nobody thinks you can do it.
Well, not the competitive game, Kirk, we hope to see, but we saw something we may never see again. Heck of a way to wrap up our 27th season.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Now, for Kurt, Holly, Molly, and Bill Bennell, Derek Mobley, everybody in our crew worked so hard to bring you college football all season long. We're grateful for that opportunity. Grateful for you folks. Good night from LA. Sports Center and Scott Van Pelt.
We welcome you to the Ram Trucks post-game. SoFi